Welcome to the fantasy audiobook. Naruto. Start with the 9 tails and take the 7th Hokage as his apprentice. Chapter 81. Gaara used the gold dust to drag his feet and landed from the sky. Senior, you have come to my sand village again. I wonder if there is anything you need to ask me this time. Nothing. I just came to take a look. There is nothing to say for the time being. Come to travel, pan for gold, etc. Come to wander around. Don't be afraid, I am not here to kill people. Gaara listened to Bai Li's words and breathed a sigh of relief. But Bai Li came directly behind him and slapped him on the shoulder. Countless sands instantly wrapped up Gaara. The shadow of the one tail appeared behind Gaara. Suddenly, an unknown storm was set off in the whole village. It began to rise around Gaara. The strange thing is that after rising to a certain height, the sand began to compress continuously and the density continued to increase. Then Gaara's figure gradually appeared in the sand. After the sandstorm, the body of the one tail suddenly appeared on Gaara's shoulder. The one tail kept touching his body, with an unbelievable look on his face. Jumping on Gaara's shoulder. Gaara slowly opened his eyes. Feeling the pressure on his shoulder, he looked up. He saw a mascot-sized raccoon jumping back and forth on his shoulder. Is this one tail? Gaara looked at this familiar yet unfamiliar figure. He spoke in disbelief. It's me, Gaara. You didn't expect that I look so ferocious. I'll kill you. Shukaku instantly opened his fangs and waved his hands at Gaara. Gaara was not afraid of this. He stretched out his hand and rubbed it back and forth on Shukaku's head. I didn't expect you to be so cute. Shukaku, do you think you are humorous? I have never been so speechless in my life. Then he jumped up suddenly, opened his big mouth, and bit Gaara's finger hard. In an instant, bloody marks appeared on Gaara's fingers, and the blood flowed directly into Shukaku's body along the sand. Bai Li's hands kept pinching the Dao seal behind his back. Gaara's blood instantly formed a bloody pattern on Shukaku's body. That was the strange Moro flower. Shukaku's tattoo also appeared on Gaara's back. This is the master-servant contract from the ancient Oriental lion, which can be called the contract of Shikigami in the Naruto world. But Shikigami does not belong to the category of Naruto world at all. It can also mean that Gaara at this time has encountered the barrier of the world. But the world did not reject them at all. Bai Li looked at the reaction of the man and the beast, and his eyes lit up slightly. The experiment seems to have succeeded. Shikigami can circulate in the Naruto world. Shukaku touched the bloody pattern on his body. He jumped directly onto Bai Li's shoulder and said, "Hey, Xiaoju, what's this? Why is it so strange? There is a vague connection between me and this kid." Bai Li threw Shukaku away in disdain. Tossed it aside. "Don't get close to me." Walked slowly to Gaara. Torn off the back of his clothes. His back was covered with Shukaku tattoos. How could this kid have my tattoos? Bai Li looked at Shukaku with an inexplicable smile. This is called deep love, deep thoughts. It turns out that brother One Tail and Gaara are true love. Three-Tail Isobu also jumped out. I didn't expect you, a stinky raccoon cat, to be like this. It turns out that your previous intimate behavior with me was all because of this. It's really scary when you think about it. Shukaku looked at Isobu like that. The sand all over his body exploded directly. You old fool. I'll kill you. After saying that, Shukaku flew directly towards Isobu, his claws dancing. The sand formed a tough spear out of thin air, shooting straight towards the direction of the three tails. The three tails looked at the furious Shukaku and said angrily, "Raccoon cat, you're serious?" So countless water vapor appeared around the three tails. Jumped suddenly from Deidara's shoulder. The body kept getting bigger. Instantly, a large amount of water vapor appeared around the sand village. The water vapor gathered around Isobu, forming a deep water circle. Water style. Great waterfall technique. The fierce water flow rushed directly and fiercely onto Shukaku's sand spear. Shukaku's sand changed color instantly. It became darker, and his movements began to slow down. Sand sleet. But a lot of sand appeared from the ground of the village again. Countless sand bullets were formed and fiercely shot towards the direction of the three-tailed beast. But the three-tailed beast was not panicked at all. The sand soaked in water stood up out of thin air and formed a huge shield. The sand soaked in water and Shukaku's sand collided violently. Shukaku's sand fell apart instantly. Part of the sand was also stuck to the sand of the three-tailed beast, which actually made the sand of the three-tailed beast grow a little bit out of thin air. The three-tailed beast looked at the stupid Shukaku in front of him. You are getting dumber and dumber. Water is my chakra. Sand with water belongs to me. How could you break it? You have been beaten for so many years and still don't understand anything. But Shukaku's body began to shrink dramatically. It reached a level that could not be seen by the naked eye. Suddenly, the three-tail felt something was wrong. But he couldn't react at all. Shukaku's body fell directly from the sky. It hit the three-tail's head hard. Isobu's three tails stood up suddenly. It perfectly reflected the bad situation of Isobu. Isobu's head seemed to be hit by a hammer. There were stars in his eyes. But Isobu's self-defense was simply triggered. Countless water vapor instantly enveloped his whole body. A huge deep water ball was formed. Shukaku's body was also wrapped up. Gaara's expression became tense instantly, because he could clearly sense the environment where Shukaku was now. That was a deep pool of water. Finally, Gaara's pupils instantly turned into the shape of Shukaku's pupils. He slapped the ground hard. The huge magic circle shape spread out from the palm of his hand. A huge curse seal array appeared in the center of the surrounding sand village. Gaara began to mutter, "My Shikigami, in the name of Gaara, I call you back, and use the array to attract you, and return to my body, return." In the pool, Shukaku's body instantly disappeared. He appeared directly in the center of the array. The moment he appeared, Gaara's pupils instantly returned to normal. He frowned and closed his eyes. He fainted all of a sudden. Shukaku's body instantly turned into yellow sand all over the sky, rushing towards Gaara's back tattoo frantically. After that, the Shukaku tattoo on Gaara's back became more lifelike. Bai Li's figure suddenly appeared in the sky above Isofu. A gentle wave of the palm. The countless water vapor around him flew into the sky instantly. Dark clouds instantly enveloped Sunagakur village. Isofu's body began to shrink continuously. Finally, he fainted on Deidara's shoulder. Bai Li stretched out his hand and lifted the three tails up. A slight flick on Sanwei's head. Ah! Sanwei instantly became energetic. The three tails stand straight up. Look around cautiously. Then got furious. Where's Shukaku? Shukaku, you dare to sit on my head. I'm going to kill him. Don't be angry. You only woke up with my help. What's the difference between you two weighing half a catty and 8 ounces? Get bigger and carry Gaara back. After listening to Bai Li's words, Isofu's small green bean-like eyes widened instantly. He pointed at Gaara and said, "Me, the dignified three-tailed Isofu, I want to carry an unknown little ninja on my back." "I won't." Isofu sat down on the spot, motionless. 3 seconds. Bai Li said calmly, staring at Isofu with sharp eyes. It seemed as if he would directly kill Isofu in the next second. Isofu climbed up quickly and smiled. "Boss, don't be angry. I didn't say I wouldn't carry you. Didn't I just have a fight? Are you tired? I'll carry you right away. I'll carry you immediately." Bai Li glanced at him gently. "You have to be there before I get to the Cage's office." Then Bai Li's figure instantly turned into the yellow sand in the sky and disappeared. Deidara stared blankly at the three tails. The three tails jumped up and punched Deidara on the head. "You won't really let your elder brother carry you, will you? A younger brother must act like a younger brother. But senior asked you to carry the burden." Deidara looked at Isofu in confusion. Isofu jumped directly onto Deidara's shoulders, lay down and said in Deidara's ear, "You are still young, and you don't understand what it means to be human. This thing is also called the more work that one can do. As a younger brother, you must share the worries of the elder brother. The more you share the worries of the elder brother, the happier the elder brother will be, and the happier the seniors will be, so it is said that you have to step up when the time comes, you know." Deidara looked at the three tails with doubtful eyes. "It seems that this is really the case. That's for sure. Can what brother said be false? Hurry up and get to work. In this case, won't you be closer to your art? Brother, this is for your own good." Deidara's eyes were full of affirmation. "You must continue to pursue your own art. Bow directly to Sanwei. Thank you, brother." Then countless pieces of clay came out of the palm of his hand. Instantly turned into a white dragon. Putting Gaara on the dragon's body, he walked towards the middle of Sunagakur village. The figure of Shiratsuki appeared in Chiyo's house. Chiyo was playing with his puppet parts in front of the table, and was not surprised at all by Bai Li's appearance. You seem to think that I will come sooner or later. The cage is dead, shouldn't you, the culprit, come? Why should I be surprised? If I were really surprised, I wouldn't sit in the elder's seat. Chiyo calmly assembled the puppet. His eyes were full of indifference. Is Konoha's collapse plan really that important? To cause one of our cage to die in our own village for no reason? Is this your plan? To disregard human life? Really? Then my Sunagakur village is not one of the 5 great ninja villages. You are slapping our Sunagakur in the face. In the end, countless thousand books were issued directly from Chiyo's hands, and they were stabbed in the direction of Bai Li. Clang, clang, clang. Not surprisingly, Shinbin was completely rooted into the wooden pile. The figure of Bai Li jumped down from the beam above. Sir, can you talk calmly? Look at how old you are, and you still use knives and guns, okay. It's not that I won't take action, I'm afraid that I will hurt you after I take action. If you rely on me again, until why do I need my reputation at this time? Bai Li spread his hands. This means that when young people beat old people, is it a loss of humanity or a loss of morals? Am I right, old woman? The thick 9 tails chakra was overwhelmingly heading towards Chiyo. Suppress Chiyo firmly. But Chiyo is not a vegetarian either. The chakra lines on my hands began to lengthen continuously. Send it to a scroll in your room. Secret technique. Chikamatsu 10 people. 10 white robes appeared in the room instantly. Surround Bai Li's figure tightly. The 2 puppets flew to Chiyo's side instantly. He raised his hand and instantly turned into a chakra shield, blocking Chiyo's body. My moves are just as good as before. Puppetry manipulating the attack blade. Countless chakra threads controlled the kunai and drove quickly towards the white raccoon. But under Shiratsuki's speed, kunai pierced the wooden stakes one after another. It's stuck in there and can't be removed. I really don't understand why you, old woman, are working so hard. Are you looking for death? Bai Li's figure is approaching quickly. Punch out fiercely. But a white puppet instantly wrapped around Bai Li's arm. The puppet's body began to spread continuously. It was directly divided into countless puppet hardware, and they were tightly fastened to Bai Li's arm. Chiyo exerted a slight force on her fingers, and the chakra thread instantly collapsed into a sharp line. The kunai on the wooden pile began to vibrate continuously. The end of the kunai was connected to a series of chakra threads, directly setting countless traps throughout the house. The next second, Chiyo seemed to see the scene of Bai Tan being dismembered. My face became abnormally flushed with excitement. But the chakra thread blocked Bai Li's body, and Bai Li rushed over forcefully. Countless chakra threads actually pulled out countless blood marks on her fingers. But Bai Li didn't care at all and continued to run rampant. The chakra threads on Chiyo's fingers are getting tighter and tighter. I had no choice but to let go of the chakra thread in my hand. In the end, countless kunai fell to the ground one after another, and the puppets also lost their function and lay quietly on the ground as if they had failed. Bai Li looked at all this mockingly. That's it? Is this what you want to achieve in your whole life? This puppet seems to be not durable. There is still less use of puppetry. Chiyo looked at this nearly invincible man. He spat out a mouthful of blood. He said with a pale face. Kill me. Remember, old lady, I will curse you even if I go underground. You will never get what you deserve. Bai Li picked his ears. This sentence feels very familiar to me, but I have no intention of killing you, and you are of little value to me. Why should I go to all the trouble to kill you? Finally, Bai Li's figure instantly appeared in front of Chiyo. The palm of his hand was directly stamped on Chiyo's Tianling cap. Countless 9 tails chakra began to pour in crazily. Countless 9 tails chakra instantly poured into Chiyo's mind and began to invade continuously. Bai Li's consciousness is also like a villain wandering in Chiyo's mind. This isn't it. Why isn't this one? Why are they all puppets? The white raccoon dog kept scurrying around in Chiyo's mind, rummaging around. Drill. 1 heart and 1 body. Puppet technique. Mechanical light shield seal. Puppet technique. Attack blade. Secret technique. 10 people near the pine. Puppet technique. 3 treasures absorbed. Seal. Lion closes roar. Countless puppet techniques and sealing techniques were continuously thrown out by Bai Li, who continued to say in disgust. Why are they all so called puppet techniques and sealing techniques? Where is the forbidden technique? It can't be sealed by her, right? Bai Li looked around Chio's brain in disbelief. Chio's brain is actually very regular, divided into several neat parts. There are 3 parts: life memory area, fragments area, and ninjutsu area. Bai Li sat at the door of the ninjutsu area, thinking calmly. But there is an extraordinary light spot shining in the corner. Bai Li's eyes suddenly lit up, and then his figure floated directly in front of the light spot. But in front of the extreme hope was disappointment. That light spot was just a fragment of memory. This old woman is really able to hide. She couldn't even find a shadow after searching for a long time. Then he lightly smashed his hand across the entire memory area. Suddenly a forbidden magic scroll appeared directly. It turned out that Chio was afraid that his soul would be searched, so he placed the scroll of the forbidden technique in the corner of the living area, hiding it so that it could not be found without some special means. Bai Li quickly came to the forbidden scroll. On the scroll are 6 big characters: forbidden technique, reincarnated. Finally found it. Bai Li's hand lightly touched it, and countless words began to spurt out from the scroll. Bai Li watched for a while, then pinched his chin and murmured. So this is what it's like. Using all of one's own chakra as a medium to distribute life to others as it is, and at the same time allowing the puppet to gain life. Is this the essence of reincarnation? Conversion and exchange with chakra. Bai Li looked at the scroll in confusion, but did not understand it deeply. After writing it down, he returned directly to his own body. Bai Li stretched out his hand, and the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes began to operate rapidly. At the same time, Chio's pupils also changed color and fainted. The Sharingan is better to use. Then Bai Li disappeared directly on the spot. In the cage office, Delata sat on the sofa, breathing heavily. Looking at Gaara, who was still unconscious, he said to Isofu. Boss, what exactly is the cooperation between this boy and Shukaku? I think the battle you two fought was a little strange. Isofu shook his head. I'm not sure. There is a vague connection between them, but it is based on this kid. His sealed space seems to have changed its position, from the kid's belly to his back. Quote. Shiratuki's figure appeared directly behind Isofu. Their situation is called Shikigami, and Gaara is the main one. The most important thing is that this guy Shukaku can return to Gaara's body no matter what the situation is, and Gaara can also. It's easy to summon it back. Unlike the psychic beast, Shukaku uses Gaara's body as a medium, and his combat power is also different. Boss. Shiratuki ignored Isofu and stepped forward to look at Gaara's condition. The 9 tails chakra in his hand keeps gushing out. A steady stream of energy entered Gaara's body. The Shukaku-shaped tattoo seemed to come alive, and began to surge and spread. Ah! Gaara opened his eyes, feeling the heavy feeling behind him. He straightened up immediately, looked at Bai Li and asked. Senior, what's going on? Why do I feel Shukaku running behind me? White Raccoon pointed at Gaara's back and said. Try circulating your chakra. Suddenly the chakra in Gaara's body began to surge crazily, and Shukaku jumped directly onto Gaara's shoulders. Gaara felt the power all over his body, and squeezed it gently with his palm, and his power instantly exploded. Said incredulously, this is Shukaku's one-tail power. Shukaku and Gaara's eyes collided, and they saw the shock in each other's eyes. This is the performance of the perfect Jinchuriki. But there is also a strange power that connects us. This form is even more powerful than the perfect Jinchuriki. This is a form that can dominate the entire ninja world. Shukaku's body stood directly in front of Shiratuki, his arms crossed on his waist. Kyubi, how did you do it? This is a method that even the old man of 6 paths couldn't think of. Bai Li smiled softly. Your current task is to constantly become familiar with your current state. You can use this situation as a Shikigami mode. Reach a basic state of balance. This is the most basic thing. As soon as the words fell, Bai Li's big hand directly wrapped around Shukaku's little head. Remember, call me boss. If you dare to call me 9 tails next time, I don't mind beating you to death. Thorn Sigma, Su degree D degree, Su. At this moment, a loud thunder was heard in the sky above the sand village. The dark clouds were getting thicker and thicker, as if it would rain in the next second. Countless villagers of the sand village rushed out of their houses and knelt on the ground. Thank God. God has not given up on us, the villagers of the sand village. Then, countless villagers moved countless pots and pans from their homes. They knelt on the ground and took off their clothes. In the depths of the village, an old man pinched his beard. His eyes, which should have been turbid, were now staring nervously at the dark clouds in the sky, and he opened his mouth incredulously. This situation, this thickness of dark clouds is really a rare sight in the sand village. Then he swallowed his saliva stupidly, and walked out quickly, heading towards Chio. Outside the sand village, several figures landed quietly. What a strange sight, isn't it that there is no rainfall in the sand village all year round? Why is it so abnormal today? Several people in Sand Hidden Village looked at each other. Shall we continue the mission now? Of course, we must get the last one today, we can't fail. Then, a figure rushed out. Several patrols from Sand Hidden Village instantly discovered a group of guys. They were all wearing black and red cloud robes, and they didn't know where they came from. But on the forehead is the symbol of rebellion. What are you? But before the patrol team finished speaking, a cold light flashed directly and slit the ninja's throat. Who are we and what does it have to do with you? The one who came was none other than the Akatsuki organization. And it was Afei and Shie who took action this time. Afei looked at the ferocious scorpion, covered his forehead and said, "Why are you so cruel and murderous when you come up? Our mission is to capture the first one, not to massacre the entire Sunagakur village." Shie glanced at Afei, turned around and said, "I see." Then his figure ran directly towards the direction of Casecage's office. I'm really anxious. Gaara in the Casecage's office is still familiar with Ikibi's strength. Suddenly, his eyebrows furrowed sharply and he looked at the thick dark clouds outside. "Senior, I have something to deal with." Bailey smiled slightly and nodded his head. "Okay, go ahead and let me see your strength." As soon as he finished speaking, Gaara's figure flew out directly from the window of Casecage's office. Then a huge maracas appeared in the sky over the entire sand-hidden village. As Shie and Fei were running, their vision disappeared and they fell into endless darkness. What the hell? Fei stretched out his hand and touched it on the invisible wall, and a line of sand appeared on Fei's fingertips. Sand. We're actually trapped in a maracas. That's interesting. Shie stared at his surroundings seriously, and countless chinbin pierced his surroundings, but it had no effect. Fei walked up and said, "Don't waste any effort. The current situation is that we have entered a trap. Don't worry, he will definitely let us out. I have absolute confidence in this matter." Shie glanced at Fei who was sitting on the spot, gritted his teeth, and sat down on the spot. Outside the maracas, Gaara stood beside the maracas. Looking at the villagers of Sunagakur village, he said loudly, "Nectar from the sky, this is the opportunity God has given us in Sand Hidden Village. But at this time, there is an invasion by outsiders, and I will not allow this to happen. Don't be afraid, everyone, the enemy has been imprisoned in the sand ball by me. Don't worry, we Sunagakur village are not afraid of anything." Casecage. Casecage. Then, countless villagers began to raise their arms and shout, and kept shouting. Gaara nodded his head to the villagers, then pointed to the dark clouds in the sky, and disappeared with the maracas. The mountain behind Sunagakur village. The huge maracas slowly opened, and countless kunai and senbons flew out of it instantly, shooting in the direction of Gaara quickly. But a sand shield is faster than them. Protect Gaara quickly. Clang, clang, clang. Several metal collision sounds were heard, and kunai and senbon instantly fell to the ground. Gaara looked at the man in robes who slowly walked out of the maracas and said seriously, "I don't know who you are, and why did you come to our Sunagakur village to commit crimes?" "It's nothing, I just heard that the one in your village is very good, and I want to borrow it for a few days to visit." Afei, wearing a whirlpool mask, ran out dancing. "Then let's see if you have this ability." Scorpion looked at Gaara's body with a hint of greed in his eyes. The sand all over Gaara's body began to surge continuously, and a huge claw of sand appeared out of thin air and slapped it hard. The thick one-tail chakra also appeared all over Gaara's body. Ikibi's body suddenly appeared behind Gaara, and a huge storm of wind and sand spurted in the direction of Fei and Scorpion. "Ah Fei, LLL not Omega not, is it necessary?" The current rule is to open it up as soon as you come up. Then the two figures ran directly to the side. But Gaara didn't want to let them go at all. The one behind Gaara jumped up out of thin air. The little hand slapped his stomach violently, and the huge wind bomb roared away. Ah Fei. Hollow Circle D. Can Aikibi come out in this situation? Isn't it the case that the tailed beast is separated from the body, so the Jinchuriki will die? What is going on now? Above the sky, a giant white dragon made of white clay, Deidara stood behind by Tanuki. How do you feel now when you see your old friend? It doesn't feel right. After all, there are no friends in that organization. Bailey also ignored Deidara's performance and focused his attention on the battle again. Xie controlled the puppet and covered the wounds on his puppet, speaking word by word. It's really tricky. Ah Fei emerged from the soil and said seriously. I don't know what's going on now. The tailed beast can leave the body. I don't know if there is any so-called black hand behind this kid. It's really tricky. Our strength seems to be limited. You want to retreat. Avoid the sharp edge. But Scorpion looked at Gaara's body, and his eyes became more greedy. He gritted his teeth. You go back first. I must make him my most perfect work of art today. Then a scroll opened directly, and a familiar figure flew out directly. That was the third generation of Kazekage. Gaara saw this scene in front of him. His pupils suddenly shrank. That was the culprit of the disappearance of the third generation of Kazekage. Gaara shouted loudly, "Who are you?" The chakra of the tail in his hand began to change continuously, and a huge amount of sand rose directly from the back of Scorpion and slapped it hard. Magnetic escape sand iron wall. The puppet made by the third generation of Kazekage clasped his hands together. Countless sand iron instantly formed a huge barrier, blocking Scorpion's body. Then, a huge sand wave hit hard. It directly covered Scorpion's figure. Gaara looked at the sand seriously, not daring to relax at all. The next second, a black barrier emerged directly from the sand dunes. An old voice appeared. Is this all your strength? Is this the rubbish strength of the wind shadow of the sand village? If you really think so, you are wrong. Gaara stared at the huge shell. The next second, the sound of the mechanism kept ringing in the shell. I saw that huge puppet starting to transform in all directions. The sand that sneaked into the puppet mechanism began to play its role. Gaara's palm clenched slightly. Countless amounts of sand instantly turned into an indestructible hard substance. Destroy all the puppet's mechanisms. A figure quickly jumped out of the puppet and backed away violently. Finally, the puppet's body began to expand violently. Crazy explosion. In an instant, the yellow sand all over the sky began to fly everywhere. A weak figure loomed in the yellow sand. Countless kunai and senbon came towards Gaara at high speed. But it is of no use at all. Gaara stretched out his hand and covered it with a layer of yellow sand, picked up the kunai on the ground, and examined it carefully. Kunai with poison is worthy of being a puppet master. Suddenly, endless purple smoke was released from the kunai, trying to poison Gaara completely. But under one tail of chakra, it is of no use. But the figure in the yellow sand shook his hand slightly. The kunai instantly decomposed into countless black particles. It turned directly into a spear and stabbed hard at Gaara's hand. Magnetic release sand iron giant needle. The kunai and senbon released by Scorpion suddenly turned into multiple sharp spears. He thrust hard in Gaara's direction. But the huge sand wave directly covered the spear. Gaara instantly put his hands together. A huge Shukaku shield appeared on the battlefield. The spear pierced the Shukaku's shield hard, but he couldn't take another step forward. The yellow sand slowly dispersed. The weak figure in the sand finally saw the whole picture clearly. It was a handsome boy with red hair. The moment Gaara saw him, his pupils shrank sharply. Because this boy looks very much like the grandson of Chiyo, the elder advisor of Sunagakur village. The scorpion that disappeared at a very young age. Are you, Scorpion? But at this time, Scorpion seemed to be unable to hear anything. The chakra thread in his hand controlled a puppet composed of the corpse of the third Kazekage, and attacked fiercely in the direction of Gaara. Countless magnetic releases smashed crazily in Gaara's direction. It can also be said that there are no skills. Scorpion's face is serious and his expression is very cold. Don't mention anyone to me, I have nothing to do with Sunagakur village. Then from the left arm of the human puppet Sandame Kazekage, he summoned thousands of arms and tied them crazily in the direction of my love. At the same time, countless poisonous mist emitted from the arm and began to spread continuously. Suddenly Gaara was surrounded by poisonous mist. Ikibi jumped onto Gaara's shoulders in an instant. Boy, this guy is playing dirty tricks, so let's play dirty tricks too. The last figure turned directly into the yellow sand in the sky and disappeared. Magnetic release sand iron triangular pyramid. The sand and iron instantly formed a triangular pyramid and flew towards Gaara at extremely high speed. But Gaara controlled the yellow sand arm and twisted the direction of the triangular pyramid. Scorpio said while staring at Gaara, "You really are the weakest case cage ever." Then he controlled the third case cage and directly formed seals with his hands, and countless sand iron began to gather violently. Magnetic release sandite shigur. Countless amounts of sand and iron began to gather, forming like black waves. After that, countless thin needles formed and headed rapidly towards Gaara. Gaara's hands slammed to the ground. Sand waterfall gun burial. Countless yellow sand flew up instantly, creating a high-density sand mountain hundreds of meters high and crushing it directly in the direction of the scorpion. Then, the strongest spear, Shukaku's spear, appeared directly in Gaara's hand. Throw it hard. Shukaku's spear shot towards the sand mountain like a bullet, continuously accelerating during flight, and Scorpion's figure was also firmly pressed into the sand mountain. In the end, Shukaku's spear penetrated the huge sand mountain directly. Suddenly a huge mountain of sand exploded. The figure of the scorpion is buried in it. But Scorpio didn't give up. The third case cage's body kept flying up, creating a huge rectangular cube out of sand and iron. Hold on to the sand mountain to the death. The moment the sand mountain exploded, the cuboid turned directly into a triangular pyramid, driving quickly in the direction of Gaara. And faster and faster, faster and faster. Sticking to Gaara's shield. Just listen to a click. There were tiny cracks in Gaara's shield. Finally it exploded. Gaara's body was thrown out violently. It hit the huge sand mountain. Countless huge waves of yellow sand were set off. Scorpio stood firmly behind the third case cage, looking at Gaara with disdain. With your strength, what else do you have besides one tail? Gaara slowly got up, holding a handful of yellow sand in his hand. Then slowly let go. The yellow sand keeps blowing away in the wind. But Scorpion's feet began to tremble continuously. The ground began to shake continuously. Not good. Xie hurriedly controlled the third generation of case cage to return to defense. But there was still a little bit of no reaction. The huge palm of sand emerged directly from the ground and slapped the scorpion firmly under its hand. The third case cage also stopped his pursuit. But this kind of injury seemed to cause no pain to Scorpion. He stood up expressionlessly. He twisted his displaced wrist back. You can't kill me, I am eternal. But Gaara smiled slightly. Shukaku appeared behind Scorpion in an instant. He opened his mouth wide. He bit down hard. Countless sandstorms instantly buried Scorpion's figure. Shukaku appeared above the sandstorm. His body kept shrinking. He put his hands on his waist. You still have to rely on me. You still have to use me to deal with such a small fry. Gaara, you should practice more. But Gaara suddenly shouted, be careful, but it was too late. A Fae appeared behind Shukaku. The bomb in his hand bombed directly in the direction of Shukaku. The violent explosion instantly wrapped Shukaku up. Shukaku also kept getting bigger. The palm slapped fiercely in the direction of a Fae. But a Fae dodged it in a strange way. Wow, the tailed beast is eating people. Finally, he ran away directly. But Scorpion behind him directly formed a huge magnetic ball in the air. Countless suction forces came from the air instantly. Shukaku's body began to shrink continuously. The magnetic force in the sand was constantly taken away. Gaara looked at the scene in front of him. He was sweating all over his head. He began to make seals quickly with both hands and slapped the ground fiercely. Prison sand burial. In an instant, the sand began to fall continuously. A huge pit was formed. It swallowed Shukaku's figure directly. But Scorpion didn't want to give up this opportunity. He directly controlled the third case cage to follow in. In an instant, countless sands began to squeeze continuously. The third case cage's body began to creak. The parts used to make the puppet began to wear out. Die. Gaara's hands squeezed hard. The huge pit formed by the yellow sand began to fill up continuously. The third cage was buried instantly. But the chakra thread on Scorpion's hand kept jumping. The third cage flew out of the sand directly, with two huge wings behind him. You are really too naive. Leave the one tail alone. Then, two black rectangular blades appeared in the hands of the third cage controlled by Scorpion. Cut it hard in the direction of the one tail. Gaara's hand slammed on the ground. A huge magic circle appeared directly. The body of the one tail disappeared directly out of thin air and landed on Gaara's shoulder. This operation completely stunned Afe. Using the tailed beast as a summoning beast. Is it still so stupid? Scorpion was also extremely shocked. Is the cooperation between the tailed beast and the Jinchuriki the effect of summoning? How could that arrogant tailed beast cooperate with the Jinchuriki like this? It can actually summon people. But at this moment, there is no time for them to be shocked. Gaara put his hands together. Shukaku's body turned into quicksand and drilled into Gaara's body. The human-shaped tailed beast Gaara appears. The huge one-tail chakra instantly collapsed the yellow sand of the entire battlefield, flying wantonly. Gaara's pupils instantly turned into the shape of Shukaku. He said coldly, "Now is our home court." Then the whole person flew out suddenly, bringing out a long sound of breaking through the air. The desert sky directly drew a track. At lightning speed, he came directly behind Scorpion. He suddenly raised his fist and hit it hard. Chakra instantly gathered on his fist and turned into the shape of Shukaku. This is their unique skill, the fist of Shukaku. Then Scorpion's body was directly knocked out. Buried in the endless sand mountain. Afe's figure came directly in front of Gaara. Without any disguise, wood release cells began to split and spread wildly. Afe also became Uchiha Obito at this time. The Mangekyo Sharingan in his pupils began to spin wildly. Kamui. Then he slammed Gaara's chest with his hand. Gaara's attack instantly passed through Obito's chest. But Obito's palm hit Gaara's chest firmly. Gaara was directly knocked out. Obito calmly felt the power of Gaara's attack. Then he slowly exhaled. What exactly caused the great increase in the strength of the human assistant? Now the rapid growth of the strength of the Jinchuriki is no longer within our control. But Obito did not sort out his clues at all. Slowly walked towards Gaara. Crouched in front of Gaara. The palm slapped directly on Gaara's body, and countless chakras kept flowing. As if he wanted to study Gaara thoroughly. But Gaara's eyes suddenly opened. He hugged Obito's body tightly with both hands. That was Gaara's sand clone. Sandstorm funeral. Gaara's figure appeared behind Obito. His hands kept crossing. Countless yellow sands instantly covered the space around Obito. Formed a huge pyramid. Enveloped Obito's body abruptly. The gold sand under Gaara's feet directly lifted him up. One tail said behind Gaara. "Kill him, he dared to bully me. Kill him." Gaara's eyes also turned cold. He clenched his hands suddenly. The huge pressure directly made the sand high density. It sank directly into the ground. Finally, it caused a violent explosion. Gaara stood upright in the desert. Finally, because of exhaustion, he knelt on the ground, gasping for breath. Finally, is it over? But the next second, Obito stood steadily in front of Gaara. "Kid, unforgivable," he said with his palm, and was about to smash it on Gaara's head. But countless Senbon and kunai came from a distance. He blocked Obito's attack. Scorpion climbed up from a distance, controlling the third cage to protect Gaara. "This is mine, my eternal art will be reflected in him." Then he looked at Obito with vigilance. Obito took a deep breath and then slowly exhaled. "It's really troublesome. Then I'll leave your mess to you. I don't want the process, I just want the result, he must die." Then he was about to walk away. But a creepy laugh came from the sky. "Why leave so early?" Obito's figure suddenly stagnated, because he heard the most horrible words in the world. He swallowed his saliva and turned around mechanically. "Sir, why do you have to pick a fight with our Akatsuki organization? I don't think we have offended you in any way. We have fulfilled your requests on time. Why are you doing this to us?" Obito watched speechlessly as Shiratuki and Deidara slowly descended from the sky. Deidara lowered his head and said nothing. But the three tails on his shoulders directly raised their tails. He yelled angrily at Obito. "You can tell me what my boss is doing. Are you really impatient? Obito looked at Sanwei's figure and his pupils shrank sharply. This is the third tail among the tailed beasts, and it is also the target that he must capture. This also proves how fierce and terrifying this man is. Bai Li smiled faintly and looked at Obito calmly. We met again. It was a coincidence that I saw this scene. Gudong. MD, why are you everywhere? Bai Li walked forward slowly. He spoke with calm eyes. Perhaps you haven't realized yet that the tailed beasts in the ninja world are all my younger brothers, so shouldn't you leave something behind when you bully my younger brother? Obito. He is your little brother, how can I play? And you are openly extorting. At this moment, Scorpion in the distance directly used the third cage to carry Gaara on his shoulders. Run towards the distance. Bai Li clapped his hand fiercely. Pointing in the direction where Scorpio left, he said. Okay, I've been convicted. Kidnapping, extortion and blackmail, this is what your Akatsuki organization did. Tell me, how should this matter be settled? Obito. There are internal and external troubles. Simply, who are the people in this Akatsuki organization? Bai Li just smiled and looked at Obito calmly. How should you give me something like this? Obito's face changed instantly. Your Excellency, this matter has nothing to do with me. It is all his own behavior. Give me a chance and I will help you get it back. Sanwei heard Obito's words and said sarcastically. Oh, you really think we are fools? If we let you out, won't you all run away? Then you don't even know how a little piece of garbage died. Are you fooling us into thinking we are fools? Quote. Then he lay directly next to Bai Li's ear. Boss, you can't believe what this guy says. He's fooling us into thinking we are fools. Obito. I didn't think so. White Raccoon's eyes instantly became sharp, and the nine-tailed chakra slapped Obito's body firmly. Real, Sanwei then said in Bai Li's ear. Boss, why don't we just kill him? By then, won't all the money, treasures, and ninja tools he has on him belong to us? Sanwei's green bean-like eyes flickered back and forth. When Obito heard Sanbi's words, the veins on his neck suddenly popped out. He began to struggle violently. I'm not. Don't talk nonsense. But under the pressure of the nine tails chakra, he couldn't move even an inch. Sanwei looked at Obito, so unwilling to admit defeat. Knocked Obito directly on the head. Boss, look, he's still not convinced. We can't keep this guy. After Bai Li heard this, he smiled slightly. Stop scaring him. Then the nine tails chakra receded crazily like a tide. I can let you go, but I can't just let you go about the loss of my little brother. Think carefully about what you can compensate for, and how to solve this matter. If I'm not satisfied, you should know. Speaking of this, Bai Li's words revealed a pure killing intent. Obito's body trembled violently. Then he nodded his head. He took out a round fan from his scroll. This is the fan of the Uchiha clan. I want to atone for my sins, Senior. Please let me go, Senior. Bai Li glanced at Obito in surprise. This kid really has to use all kinds of tricks to escape, it's not easy. Bai Li stretched out his hand and was about to take the Uchiha fan. But Obito's hand grabbed the Uchiwa fan tightly. Senior, I only have so many ninja tools, please leave some for me, okay? After saying that, Obito's eyes blinked. With such pitiful appearance, Bai Li couldn't help but let go of his hand. Okay, before Obito could become happy. Then Bai Li's wrist violently exerted force. Uchiha's fan went directly into Shiratuki's hands. Uchiha Obito, Bai Li's fingers gently rubbed the surface of the fan, praising it constantly. It's really a good baby. Not bad, not bad. Looking at how pitiful you are, I'll give it back to you. Having said that, Bai Li stretched out his hand and was about to pass the fan in the direction of Obito. Obito hurriedly stretched out his hand. Thank you, Senior, thank you, Senior. But at this moment, a strange wind suddenly blew. The yellow sand in the sky was blown up directly, and it fascinated Uchiha Obito's eyes. Tears instantly flowed from Obito's eyes, and he hurriedly wiped the tears with his palms. Then when the yellow sand passed, Obito opened his eyes again. There was nothing left in Bai Li's palm. Bai Li squinted his eyes and just opened them. Looking at Uchiha Obito's confused eyes, Shiratuki asked. What's wrong? Obito was so shocked that he couldn't speak at this time. He pointed at Shiratuki's palm and pointed back and forth, his whole body seemed to be twitching. What about the Uchiha fan? Bai Li looked at Obito's expression and couldn't help laughing. But he quickly straightened his face. Didn't you take it back? Besides, the wind and sand are so big, how can I see whoever took it away? You are so close to the fan and you can't see it, how can I see it? At this point, the Nine Tails chakra suddenly exploded, forming a big hand and tightly holding Obito in the palm of his hand. Bai Li said word by word. Are you questioning me? What's the use of the broken fan you gave me if I swallowed it? Even if it is placed on the ground, no dog will pick it up. Bai Li. Looking at Bai Li's performance, Sanwei couldn't help but stick out his thumb behind his back. As expected of a big brother. Oh, hollow down pointing triangle D. Obito, _. Then he stretched out his hand lonelily. Yes, I took it. Bai Li looked at Obito's performance and nodded his head with satisfaction. Isn't that right? Why are you so stubborn with me? How can my memory be wrong? Senior is always right. Obito, who said these words, seemed to be decadent. Then the arm transformed by the Nine Tails chakra receded like a tide. Okay, this matter is over, and there is no longer any relationship between us. Yes. Then there was light in Obito's eyes again, and he looked in the direction where Scorpion was leaving, and was about to move his feet. Bai Li clapped his hand and slammed it on the ground. The figures of Scorpion and Gaara returned to him instantly. Scorpion still maintains his escape attitude. But something didn't feel right while I was running. He stared blankly at the environment he was currently in. Scorpion, _. Why haven't I left yet? There's something wrong with this. Scorpion wanted to take another step, but the incomparable pressure instantly pushed him into the ground. Deidara immediately stepped forward and caught Gaara from the third cage's shoulder. Bai Li squatted on the ground, looking at Scorpion in front of him. By the way, why are you kids so naughty? How far did you run away? But Shia's little face changed, and she obviously didn't want to speak. As soon as Sanwei saw the opportunity, the troll Sanwei went online instantly. Go up and slap Scorpion in the face. You took my one-tailed brother with you, and you are still so arrogant. Who gave you such a bad temper? Let me tell you, your three-tailed uncle doesn't spoil you. Then Sanwei directly raised his tortoise fist, pointed it at Scorpion's face, and started a large-scale attack. In no time, Shia's delicate face was covered with scars. Woo! Sanwei looked at Shia's constant struggle, and even wanted to raise his tortoise fist and rush forward. Bai Li stopped him directly. Okay, revenge doesn't need to be so radical. He dares to lose my brother, I will make him pay with his life today. But Bai Li glanced away. The loudmouthed Sanwei fell silent instantly. Bai Li looked at Obito in the distance, and pointed at Scorpion, whose body was half buried in the soil. Do you understand? Obito looked at Bai Li and nodded his head blankly. I know. Then he stepped forward and hurriedly unbuttoned his belt. Bai Li, Scorpion, what the hell are you doing? Airy summation, degree no. Bagya Road. Bai Li held Obito's shoulders speechlessly. What are you doing? Xie looked at Bai Li, who had blocked this evil Fei. There was endless gratitude in his eyes. But Obito here didn't understand Bai Li's meaning at all. He pointed at the white raccoon and then at the Scorpion. Isn't this what Senior asked me to do? Won't you let me walk in front of him? Then he took off his pants while talking. Then his fist hit Obito directly on the head. I asked you to carry him away. Why did you use so many inhuman methods on me? Do you really just want to kill him? I think you are the biggest undercover in the Akatsuki organization. Obito touched his head blankly. He cast an embarrassed look at Scorpion. His lips were constantly making gestures. I didn't mean it. But Scorpio turned his head to one side, not wanting to hear Obito's explanation at all. Obito then directly pulled the Scorpion out of the soil. Shiratuki looked at Gaara beside him, and then patted him directly on the back. A stream of yellow sand appeared instantly. Shukaku's body appeared on Gaara's shoulders. Crossing his arms. Boss, kill them. They don't take us tailed beasts seriously. I think Xiao 2, Xiao 4, Xiao 5 and Xiaoba will all be in danger. Obito widened his eyes, looking at Ikibi incredulously. But no words were spoken. My heart has already been turned upside down. Your uncles, how did you know we were going to capture the tailed beast? If I had known, I would have killed you. But Obito didn't show it. Instead, he looked pitifully at Bai Li. Senior, how dare we think like this? Even if you give us a lot of courage, we wouldn't dare. Real, that's for sure. Shiratsuki patted Obito on the shoulder and looked at the poor young man. Remember that there is no hope for things, and don't try your best to ask for them. The results you get are often not the results you want. Then Bai Li took a deep breath. You guys can go, I won't stop you anymore. I just want the Akatsuki organization to be more at peace these days and don't let me do it myself. Yes. Obito didn't have time to think too much, after hearing the news that Shiratsuki let him go. He didn't even care about the scorpion behind him. Run directly towards the distance. Bai Li looked at Xie, who doubted his life. What, you don't want to leave yet? Scorpion glanced at Bai Li with complicated eyes, and then at Deidara behind Bai Li. He gritted his teeth. Control the third generation of Kazekage and fly towards the distance. It seems that Sunagakur village is safe now, but I don't know if Obito will choose that option in the future. Bai Li put his hands under his head. Kick the short Shukaku. Okay, we should go back. The crisis in this village should be over. At this time, the troops from Sand Hidden Village were also belatedly arriving. Countless ninjas are running towards here. Kazekage-sama. Master Kazekage, we are here to help you. Bai Li looked at the ninja in the distance. It seems like the rain has passed. Let's go back. After a while, we have to head to the next stop. After all, there are still many tailed beast brothers. Shukaku jumped directly onto Gaara's chest, slapping his face with his palms. Boy, it's time to wake up. The battle is over. Gaara slowly opened his eyes, looking at the yellow sand that has completely disappeared. Slowly he sat up straight. It's over. Otherwise, Lao Ju, ah no, boss, if you take action, you will be worth two. Shukaku pinched his waist and pouted his mouth. Get up quickly, the ninja of your village is finally here. Gaara looked at the ninjas hurriedly running in the distance. He stood up directly and bowed in Bai Li's direction. Thank you so much for today, senior. Gaara is very grateful. Bai Li nodded his head calmly. Then Gaara directly stopped the entire ninja army. I have driven away the enemies here. Don't worry, I will always protect everyone's safety and be a qualified Kazekage. Kazekage-sama. Kazekage-sama. At the same time, Shukaku stood directly on Gaara's shoulder and shouted loudly. Don't worry, I will ensure your safety. But the moment Shukaku appeared, there was unprecedented panic among the crowd. That's one tail, one tail. Why is Kazekage-sama staying with this terrifying guy? Shouldn't it be sealed in Kazekage-sama's body? Countless doubts filled Shukaku's ears. Shukaku's face suddenly darkened. He said coldly, sure enough, ninjas cannot be trusted, so just wait for me to destroy your village. Suddenly, countless yellow sands began to gather here. A huge tornado roared. Gaara's hand suddenly covered Shukaku's body. He said softly, leave it to me, I will handle this matter. Bai Li looked at Gaara, and then looked at the ninjas of the sand village here. If you can't handle it well, you can leave it to me. I can completely help you eliminate all doubts. Senior, believe me, I can do it. Gaara took a big step and stared at the ninjas with a serious face. From today on, the tailed beast is no longer a symbol of terror. He is our partner. If there is no one tail today, I will die here, and the entire sand village will begin to collapse. Therefore, the one tail is our guarantee, and the tailed beast is not as scary as you think. He can be our friend, and the tailed beast is also protecting our safety all the time. So I decided to list the one tail as the guardian beast of the sand village. We should be proud of the one tail and no longer need to exclude the one tail. This is our honor. Gaara's words resounded in everyone's heart. Hit their hearts hard. The tailed beast is our friend. Lord Kazekage, if there is no tailed beast today, I will die here. But the tailed beast. The fear in everyone's eyes gradually dissipated. Looking at the figures of Gaara and the one tail, with a trace of admiration. Finally, the crowd broke out into fierce applause. Aikibi-sama, Aikibi-sama. Gaara and Aikibi listened to the shouts from the crowd. Gaara smiled slightly and reached out his hand to touch Aikibi's head. We have always been a family. In this way, Aikibi became the pride of Sunagakur village. Some tears slowly gathered in Yue's eyes. Seeing that he finally got the approval of the ninjas, He put his arms around his waist and stood on Gaara's shoulders. A big wave of his hand. Countless amounts of yellow sand rushed in instantly. Gaara and the village ninjas' expressions instantly became tense, watching what Ikibi did nervously. But the sky full of yellow sand rushed directly to the entrance of Sunagakur village. After a long time, it receded like a tide. A huge Shukaku statue appears at the entrance to Sunagakur village. Shukaku jumped directly onto the statue's shoulders and shouted loudly, "Don't worry, Gaara, and I will definitely protect you. A quiet life is the guarantee I can give you." Suddenly, the entire crowd burst into unprecedented shouts. Ikibi-sama Niubi! Ikibi-sama Niubi! Everyone's eyes were filled with tears, and they shouted loudly for this ending. Sanwei stared blankly at the people in Sunagakur village. Doubts also appeared in his own eyes. Can humans and tailed beasts really live in peace? Bailey's hand gently touched Sanwei's head. Don't worry, this kind of era will come soon, and we can live openly and honestly in the ninja world. This guy Shukaku has succeeded. A few days later, in Feng Ying's office. At this time, Sand Shadow Village was already controlled by Gaara. The entire Sand Hidden Village is impregnable and united. When Yue walked onto the street, he was like a mascot and was respected by everyone. Bai Li sat on the chair in Cage's office. He looked at Gaara and said, "You did a great job this time. Times like this are the best things for a village, and I hope it stays like this." "I will do it, senior. Ikibi is my pride and the pride of the whole village." White Raccoon looked at Gaara appreciatively. Slowly stood up. "Okay, then I will leave it to you, little one, with peace of mind. Practice your Shikigami mode. This mode is much stronger than the Jinchuriki." "Yes, then I'm sorry to bother you. Sanwei and I will continue to play in the distance." One Tail jumped directly in front of Bailey. "Lao Ju, come and have some fun in my village. I'm in the village now, but if you can talk to me, I'll stay for a few more days." Bailey and Sanwei looked at each other. "Look at this stinky guy. A bullet hit him in the head. I really think this is your village. Help Gaara to fix the village. By then, our tailed beasts will be able to stand upright in the ninja world. That is our wish. I won't be here to watch you. Don't worry, Sanbi, Deidara and I will go to visit the ninja world. Also, remember to call me boss." Isofu also jumped out. He said to Shukaku angrily, "Ikibi is very busy right now. We, the idle-tailed beasts, are going to have some fun, so I'll give it to you without bothering you." Bailey suddenly laughed out loud when he heard Sanwei's eccentric expression. "Ha ha ha ha. Deidara and Gaara said here. I envy you very much, but that was before. Now the whole village is proud of you, so you have to work hard." "I know, I hope your art will be realized soon. Okay, let's go, come on." Shiratuki waved his hands at Gaara and Shukaku. Then one person and two tailed beasts disappeared directly. Gaara and Shukaku looked at each other. Shukaku smashed his fist directly into Gaara's head. "Okay, what are you looking at? Manage the village well, otherwise Lao Ju will come back to deal with me." Outside Sand Hidden Village, Bai Li walked lazily, and at some point a sand truck appeared under his feet. "Okay, we should go play again. We can finally stand up." Then the two figures and one-tailed beast slowly disappeared into the yellow sand. Konoha Village. Tsunade sat on top of the Hokage's chair. Suddenly a person rushed in from outside the door. "It's Uchiha Itachi." Uchiha Itachi came directly to Tsunade and said, "I think according to our guard's investigation, there are many Konoha clans who are restless, such as the Sarutobi clan." Tsunade pinched her eyebrows and took the information from Uchiha Itachi's hand. "I flipped through the contents in the information. Didn't the elder of the Sarutobi clan just die? Now the wave is not over, but another wave is rising." Uchiha Itachi lowered his head and said honestly, "I'm not sure either." "Okay, you go back and call your father and Orochimaru. I have something important to discuss with them." "Yes." Uchiha Itachi's figure instantly turned into a crow and disappeared. Sarutobi's clan, outside the clan's territory. Uchiha Shisui squatted on a tree branch and carefully observed the situation. "I really don't know what the Sarutobi clan is going to do. It's become their norm to lose everything. Why are they going to cause trouble again? I just took a few days off." Despite the complaints, Shisui still carefully monitors the Sarutobi clan. A figure came directly to Jisui's side. Captain, there is something I need to report to you. Explain. The members of the Sarutobi clan began to move in a large number of directions. We don't know what's going on for now, because we can't get up there either. Uchiha Shisui's eyes condensed. Take me there. This is the eastern clan territory of the Sarutobi clan. Sarutobi Asuma entered a secret room. In the secret room were countless high-ranking members of the Sarutobi clan. The moment the high-ranking members saw Sarutobi Asuma coming in, they all knocked on the table. What? You all want to rebel, right? I think you have forgotten who the clan leader is. Soon, Sarutobi Asuma's chakra was released. He was about to press down on everyone. But a stronger chakra appeared among the high-ranking members. He pushed Sarutobi Asuma's chakra back. Asuma's face instantly turned red. Have you forgotten who the clan leader is? You are treasonous if you attack me now. A representative from the high-ranking members slowly stood up. Under your leadership, the Sarutobi clan has become weak. Do you think you are still suitable to be the clan leader? Don't forget that our Sarutobi clan is the largest clan in the entire Konoha. When have we ever been so frustrated? Even the Uchiha clan, the former dog of Konoha, can step on our heads and shit. This is your weakness. As soon as these words came out, countless high-level officials pointed fingers at Sarutobi Asuma. They began to constantly accuse him. Sarutobi Asuma took out a cigarette from his pocket and held it in his mouth. With a click, he turned on the lighter and lit the cigarette instantly. He slowly exhaled a puff of smoke. So what do you think we should do? The representative came directly behind Asuma. He put his hand on Asuma's shoulder and gave it a slight squeeze. But Asuma's expression remained unchanged and he spoke calmly. Give me what you think is a good idea, Sarutobi Hujing. Sarutobi Hujing reached out and took Asuma Sarutobi's lighter. He kept playing with it in his hands. He began to walk slowly in a circle around Sarutobi Asuma. Then his eyes became fierce. He threw the lighter directly on the table. Kill. The only way to restore the status of my Sarutobi clan is to kill the current high-level officials of Konoha. Hehe. Why are you laughing? Do you really think that Konoha doesn't have any strength now? That woman Tsunade is enough for you to drink a pot of, let alone our Sarutobi clan. What high-end combat power do we have? You are really fanciful. Quote. But Sarutobi Hujing seemed to have thought that Sarutobi Asuma would say this. He took out a scroll from his arms. Lay flat on the table. This is the good faith treaty I had with the Fuma clan. They can break into the Hokage's office with us and the remaining Anbu. If we arrest Tsunade directly, then the entire Konoha will be under our control. Sarutobi Asuma looked at Sarutobi Hujing as if he was mentally retarded. He took a deep drag on the cigarette. You don't really think that Konoha has such a little background, do you? Then you really think of Konoha simply. Sarutobi Hujing waved his hand gently to Sarutobi Asuma. Have you really forgotten the Shimura clan? Hey, that's not enough either. After hearing this, Hujing Sarutobi's expression changed instantly. He waved his hand directly behind him. Two Sarutobi tribesmen appeared from behind and pinned Asuma Sarutobi firmly to the table. Suddenly Sarutobi Asuma was furious. I am your clan leader. How dare you attack your clan leader? This is your great disrespect. I tell you, even if you win this battle, it won't last long. Sarutobi Hujing looked at Sarutobi Asuma, who looked like fish on the chopping board, and smiled slightly. You don't have to worry about it. You will know the result when the time comes. I will be Hokage and I will wait for the patriarch to come and see me. Then the subordinate's palm suddenly exerted force. Lock Asuma Sarutobi in a secret room. Sarutobi Hujing faced the elders with his body. I wonder what your elders' intentions are. Let's do it. We Sarutobi clan can't retreat anymore. Kill them. Okay, then all the elders will go back to rest and wait for my news. Then the senior officials of the Sarutobi clan stood up and walked out of the secret room. On the branch outside the secret room, Uchiha Shisui looked at this scene with confusion. Murmured, why hasn't Asuma come out yet? The top leaders of the Sarutobi clan have evacuated, why are you so procrastinating now? An Anbu member came directly to Shisui's side. Captain, the number of people going in and the number coming out are different. How much difference? 2 people. Uchiha Shisui nodded his head to express understanding. You continue to monitor here, and I'll go to the Hokage's office. If anything happens, I'll report it. Quote. Yes. In the Hokage's office. Tsunade sat on the Hokage's office chair. Opposite are a man and a woman. The woman spoke first. Senior is not in the village now, so they can't help but take action. I don't think Sarutobi Asuma has this kind of personality. I always feel something is weird. Orochimaru pinched his chin, thinking back and forth. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in Uchiha Fugaku's eyes kept turning, as if to see the essence of the matter clearly. The Sarutobi clan is like a 100-footed insect that will never die. It is really difficult to eradicate them completely. Some of their secret lines are still hidden in Konoha. Even our Konoha guards can't find them. Come out. Tsunade stared at the pile of information carefully. That's what we should do with the current situation. Fugaku, you start to seriously investigate every part of Konoha. If there are any unusual situations, report to me in time. The Anbu accepts your dispatch and must control the safety of Konoha in its own hands. Yes. Tsunade then turned her head to Orochimaru's side. Orochimaru, hurry up and gather all the forces together. If any abnormal situation occurs, deal with it in time. You must ensure that no plant or tree in Konoha is harmed. Yes. Then Orochimaru looked at Tsunade with an unknown light in his eyes. What else do you want to say? Can we use some special means? Orochimaru had an extremely feminine smile on his face. Tsunade took a deep breath, then slowly exhaled it and nodded her head. Clear. Then Orochimaru and Uchiha Fugaku walked out of the door directly. As the door slowly closed, Tsunade rubbed her brows. Then a man walked out from the darkness of the Hokage's office. That was also Bai Li's backup plan. Anne. Is there anything critical now? I can notify you in time. Tsunade waved her hands hastily. Not for now, I think I can control it within my control. Finally, she nodded her head and dived into the darkness. Uchiha Fugaku's home. Orochimaru and Uchiha Fugaku sat opposite each other. What do you think? Uchiha Fugaku poured a cup of tea for Orochimaru. Slowly pushed it out. It's a very normal thing. With the current situation of Konoha, how can it be quiet without causing a few things? Moreover, all policies of Konoha are now beginning to take action against the interests of the big clans. If there is no movement, I really doubt whether this is Konoha. Uchiha Fugaku drank the water in his teacup suddenly. But the current situation is indeed tricky enough. The actions of the Sarutobi clan are really hard to describe. There is nothing to worry about. The black hand behind it may not be Sarutobi Asuma, but also the corrupt elders of the Sarutobi clan. Uchiha Fugaku looked at Orochimaru in surprise. Are you really that confident? But Orochimaru didn't say anything. Instead, he stretched out his fingers and made a 3 sign. 3, 2, 1. Then there was a knock on the door. Master Fugaku, Master Hokage has something to discuss with you. Please come over. Orochimaru drank all the tea in the cup gently and stood up slowly. Look, isn't the news here? Uchiha Fugaku looked at Orochimaru, who played with people's hearts in his hands. His heart kept chilling. Then he exclaimed, you guessed it right, let's go. Chapter 91. I'm sorry to cause you all this back and forth, but there's something new going on. Tsunade folded her hands and placed them on the table. He pointed at Uchiha Shisui next to him. Speak, tell the truth, and let us listen together. Then, Uchiha Shisui stood up directly. According to our Anbu's day and night surveillance of the Sarutobi clan, we finally made a major discovery. The Sarutobi clan is plotting something. But because our people can't get in, we don't know the specific situation. Uchiha Fugaku's face turned dark and he asked next. There's more. The Sarutobi clan just held a secret meeting. But there are 2 fewer people who came out than those who went in. Among them are the young elders of the Sarutobi clan, and one is the current leader of the Sarutobi clan, Sarutobi Asuma. Orochimaru slumped lazily on the chair. It's not unexpected, it's just like this. Tsunade and Uchiha Fugaku heard Orochimaru's words and looked at him. With Asuma Sarutobi's IQ, he will definitely not rebel, but that group of radical elders is different. They will definitely restore the status of the Sarutobi clan, so the Sarutobi clan has changed hands. Tsunade pinched her brow and looked at Orochimaru in confusion. Is it possible? Although I had this speculation just now, I think they will still obey Asuma's command, right? Have you forgotten those old rotten Sarutobi clan? When we were young and learned ninjutsu from the old man, we often saw the faces of those rotten old men. Tsunade recalled the past times and nodded her head. That's right, the old rotten people of the Sarutobi clan are not so peaceful. Finally Tsunade stood up abruptly. Now one last question. Where did they get the courage to attack the entire Konoha village? You were really big-breasted and brainless. Ever since my senior kidnapped you, you really haven't used your brain, right? Orochimaru smoothed his hair and looked at Tsunade with disgust. Orochimaru. Tsunade slammed her desk and looked at Orochimaru angrily. I really don't know when you will learn to be gentle. Hey, isn't the Fugaku clan leader here? You can't always rely on me to tell you. Uchiha Fugaku glanced at Orochimaru speechlessly. Finally stood up slowly. The Sarutobi clan has always had a good relationship with the Fuma clan. If they want to rebel, then they will definitely contact the Fuma clan, and then they will cooperate internally and externally to surround Konoha. Speaking of this, Uchiha Fugaku paused. And they will definitely give the Konoha family a reasonable reason to stop defending Konoha, and this reason is the most crucial. Tasho listened to Fugaku's explanation and turned his gaze to the prosperous Konoha village. Also, if the big families defend themselves, the strength of the two families alone will not be enough to destroy Konoha. Then based on the understanding of the Fugaku clan leader, how will they cooperate internally and externally? Tsunade narrowed her eyes and stared at the layout of Konoha's big families. There is no need for any layout. Konoha only needs the Sarutobi clan and the Shimura clan to jointly control the entire Hokage building. Then use the remaining Anbu power from the third generation to send messages to various families so that they do not need to dispatch ninjas. This completes their initial plan. Then Uchiha Fugaku slowly walked to the Hokage's office chair. He placed his hands on both sides of the chair. They only need to fight for this position and kill you, and their plan will be completed. Then they can directly control the direction of public opinion, and then they can take back the position of Hokage. Tsunade's eyes turned cold. Shouted loudly. They dare. There is nothing they dare to do now. They can do anything if they are cornered. Don't worry. Although our Uchiha clan has become smaller in number, our combat power is still there. I, Itachi and Shisui can help you guard the 3 passages, but the rest is your own battlefield. At this time, a teasing smile appeared on Tsunade's lips. He patted Orochimaru's shoulder hard. It made Orochimaru stumble. Orochimaru's body instantly turned into a small snake. Then he quickly transformed into a human form and said with anger on his face. Tsunade, are you crazy? You have no idea how strong your hands are. At this time, Orochimaru's shoulders were already taller and shorter. But Orochimaru endured the severe pain and jerked his shoulder upwards, only to hear a crunch and the shoulder returned to its original position. Then Orochimaru raised his hands and pinched Tsunade's neck. I'm going to kill you today. I don't know how strong my hands are. I'm a girl now. If I break apart, I have to ask you to pay for it. Tsunade wiped the sweat from her forehead. He muttered unconfidently in his heart. They have all forgotten that Orochimaru is a woman now. I can't quarrel with his chest now. If I give away my own money, the gain will outweigh the loss. At this time, Tsunade seemed to have thought of something. His whole body trembled violently, as if he had been electrocuted. There was a hint of fear in Orochimaru's eyes. Then she gently placed her hand on Orochimaru's shoulder. I will never touch you again, but we need to discuss something now. When the rebels arrive, block the only passage for me. I will close the door and beat the dog. Okay, who asked me to do this kind of work? Well, then we will wait quietly for the arrival of the 2 clans. Tsunade placed her hand on the balcony of the Hokage's office. Looking down at the entire Konoha village from high to low. Looking at the 5 heads on the Hokage rock. Slowly exhaled. I really didn't expect that the final game would be a game with the teacher. It is really the most important test in my ninja career. Then let's have a good time. All out, yes. Then, with the Hokage's office as the center, countless figures began to spread out in all directions. Quickly hiding in every corner of Konoha. The Fuma clan. The patriarch of the Fuma clan looked at the scroll in his hand. Said to the old man beside him. What do you think about this matter? The Sarutobi clan asked our clan for help, should we help them or not? The old man on the side said tremblingly. It's nothing more than a choice of gambling or not, but our Fuma clan is inseparable from the Sarutobi clan, or we can say that we are now grasshoppers on the same rope. We can't hide even if we want to. This is our chance, and the only chance. If we succeed, we will be rewarded with merit and honor, and if we fail, our clan will be exterminated. The leader of the Feng Mo clan stood in front of his clan's ancestral hall, holding a long tribute incense stick in his hand. A steady bow. Then the tribute incense is inserted into the tribute platform. Behind them are the old people, and behind the old people are a group of young ninjas. The patriarch muttered something. Please, ancestors, bless my clan so that we can successfully rise in this battle. This is our clan's long-cherished wish. Please protect me, senior. Please protect me, senior. Countless echoes resounded throughout the entire ancestral hall. Subsequently, the leader of the Feng Mo clan, Feng Mo, turned to his body for a long time and said, the target of our crusade this time is Konoha village. As long as we defeat Konoha village, it's time for us to rise. The tribesmen who heard this all looked worried. A confident smile appeared on Feng Mo's face for a long time. Don't worry, our allies this time are the Sarutobi clan and the Shimura clan. To ensure that we capture the entire Konoha village, we will definitely win. This is our era. The Wind Demon clan rises. The Wind Demon clan rises. Okay, let's set off now. Go straight to Konoha village and strengthen our Fuma clan. Kill. Outside Konoha village, Sarutobi Hujing looked at the Wind Demon in front of him for a long time. He went up and hugged his shoulders. Brother, you are reliable, the time is just right. That's for sure. When did I break our promise? Ha 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 ha. Afterwards, the two of them walked into the house while chatting directly. Brother, when the time comes, you can attack directly through that gate, because we have already gathered the information. The remaining 3 gates are guarded by the Uchiha clan. Only this gate is guarded by normal ninjas, and the defense is very loose. When we attack tomorrow, we will directly replace the guards with people from our Sarutobi clan and directly attack the depths of Konoha. There will be no worries at all. Fuma looked at Sarutobi Hujing for a long time and said, what about the remaining Konoha clans? It doesn't matter. Tomorrow I will ask the remaining Anbu to bring them a message and let them hide in the safe cave. They don't have to come out, and there is no need to send ninjas for reinforcements. We can completely control everything. Feng Mo listened to Sarutobi Hujing's arrangement for a long time and nodded his head. That's good, as long as everything is arranged. Okay, then I'll go back and wait for the good news from my brother tomorrow. Good. Early the next morning, Uchiha Fugaku took Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Shisui out of the Uchiha clan. Said to Itachi and Shisui, you go to the 2 gates over there, and be sure not to let anyone invade Konoha. Your experience can completely block them out, and take 2/3 of the guard members to defend it. Yes. Then Fugaku's eyes went directly to the Hokage building in the middle. Let's see you perform. He also walked towards the entrance of another passage. Tsunade stood at the window of the Hokage's office with a heavy face, casting her gaze into the distance. The situation has been set. Let's see if you can get in. Then he waved directly to the door. An Anbu member walked in slowly. Go and notify me and gather the heads of each family downstairs in the Hokage's office. Let them make arrangements for their families and ordinary people. There is something I want to explain to them. Yes. Then Tsunade sat directly on the Hokage's office chair and closed her eyes. Sure enough, the Fuma clan, led by the Sarutobi clan, successfully entered Konoha. Come straight to the Hokage's office. Along the way, members of the Sarutobi clan held up scrolls in their hands to open a green passage for them. Not long after, the door to the Hokage's office was violently opened. I didn't expect Hokage-sama to be so leisurely now. I happen to have something I want to discuss with Hokage-sama. Sarutobi Hujing stood in front of Tsunade holding his arms. Tsunade slowly opened her eyes. Oh, what qualifications do you have to talk to me? Where is the leader of your Sarutobi clan? Is Asuma so cowardly now? Letting a young elder ride on his head is really a loss for my teacher. The dignity. After hearing this, Hujing Sarutobi became furious. What qualifications do you have to mention the 3rd generation? It's all you who killed him. Today I will avenge the 3rd generation. After saying that, a kunai appeared directly in Sarutobi Hujing's hand and stabbed it in the direction of Tsunade. You really overestimate your capabilities. I thought you would send shadow-level warriors to kill me, but I didn't expect it to be you guys. Then Tsunade's hand suddenly stretched out and hit Sarutobi Hujing's hand directly. Just knocked the kunai to the ground. Suddenly Sarutobi Hujing covered his wrist in pain. He stretched out his hand behind him. Kill this fool. Countless ninjas instantly poured out from behind Sarutobi Hujing. Directly surround Tsunade in the middle. Feng Mo took a long time and slowly walked out from behind. It seems like it's been successful. When will we do what we promised? We'll do it right away. Let's go out and talk for a while. Sarutobi Hujing directly hugged Fuma Ryoku's arm. He was about to take him outside. Puff! There was only a piercing sound. Fuma Ryoku covered his stomach and looked at Sarutobi Hujing in disbelief. You, what are you doing? How dare you frame me? Suddenly, Fuma Ryoku's chakra began to riot wildly. He directly threw Sarutobi Hujing out. But the injury was still too serious. He slowly fell to the ground. If I don't kill you, then wouldn't it be my Sarutobi clan that suffered the loss? Killing you is the legitimate reason. Then Sarutobi Hujing stepped forward and slowly closed Fuma Ryoku's eyes. Tsunade looked at this villain with disdain and laughed. You really have the same personality as the old man. You can do anything for power. This kind of crossing the river and destroying the bridge is simply a replica of the old man. Haha, being able to control Konoha village in your own hands, this matter is nothing. As he said, a lustful light appeared in Sarutobi Hujing's eyes, and he looked at Tsunade's body in amazement. If you are willing to be my wife, I am willing to let you go and leave a seed for the Senju clan. Pa pa pa. Tsunade did not get angry but laughed and applauded Sarutobi Hujing. I really don't know where you get your confidence from. Sarutobi Hujing looked at Tsunade, and couldn't help laughing at the current look. You are fighting to the death. But before he finished speaking, a figure suddenly rushed out from behind him. Lying down and saying in his ear, My lord, our retreat has been cut off. There are countless snakes separating us from the ninjas outside. Snake, could it be Orochimaru? Let me show you the gift I prepared for you. Tsunade stood up slowly. She clapped her hands. Countless members of the Anbu instantly fell from the sky. They instantly surrounded the Sarutobi clan and the Fuma clan. Sarutobi Hujing's pupils shrank suddenly. I really didn't expect that the news that was originally as close as the wind was still spread out, and you, the Hokage, were prepared, but this little bit of ninja reserve is still far from enough. She stretched out her hand. She quickly formed a few seals. She slapped the ground violently. Summoning technique Shanmo. A huge white smoke rose directly. A thick arm stretched out from the white smoke, throwing the Anbu members out alive. The figure in the smoke gradually became clear. That was the Shanmo clan. Sarutobi Hujing stood behind Shanmo and looked at Tsunade with a smile. How is it? My summoning beast is not bad, right? Your remnants are not enough for me to fight alone. After that, Sarutobi Hujing stretched out one of his hands. The monkey demon instantly turned into a long stick and flew into Hujing's hands. The dance was so fierce. But Tsunade was not afraid at all. She walked out slowly. Strange power. Tsunade directly hit Hujing Sarutobi with a hammer. Countless air waves gushed out directly. Hujing's body was directly knocked out. He held the Vajra Rui stick tightly in his hand. A long mark was left on the ground. Then it was deeply hit into the wall. Vajra cage. The Vajra Rui stick in Hujing Sarutobi's hand instantly flew up and turned into a huge cage, trapping Hujing Sarutobi tightly inside. It blocked the impact of this strange power. Then a long stick flew out from the smoke in an instant. It was about to hit Tsunade's leg. Tsunade's hand suddenly stretched down to block this attack. But several kunai were shot out from the smoke, shooting towards Tsunade's head at high speed. Tsunade's pupils shrank suddenly. This guy is a veteran. Then he squatted down quickly. His arms blocked in front of him tightly. There was only a bang. Tsunade's body was hit by the Vajra Rui stick and flew out. Raised countless dust. Seeing this scene, Hujing of Sarutobi gradually became crazy. Let you see my strength. Then Yuan Fei Hujing stomped his feet on the ground and flew out directly. Holding the Vajra Rui stick, he was about to hit into the smoke. The force directly rippled in the air. Cough 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 cough. In the smoke, Tsunade's body slowly appeared. A bruise appeared on Tsunade's arm. His eyebrows were slightly wrinkled. Looking at Hujing of Sarutobi, who came with a stick. Stomped his feet hard. Painful kick. Instantly, with Tsunade as the center, the ground showed large-scale cracks. The whole floor began to shake. Sarutobi Hujing had to change his attack path, holding the Vajra Rui stick and stabbing it hard into the ground to stabilize his body. But the whole floor began to sink rapidly. It fell to the next floor all of a sudden. Dust suddenly rushed up into the sky. The whole floor was torn into pieces. Tsunade's figure rushed out directly from the dust. A painful kick directly kicked Sarutobi Hujing's body. Sarutobi Hujing was kicked out directly and smashed hard into the wall in the distance. No life. Sarutobi Hujing was buried directly. Tsunade looked at the bruises on her arm, frowning. Then the bruises began to dissipate quickly. Looking at the dust in the sky seriously. In the dust, Sarutobi Hujing spit out a mouthful of blood. Even with the Vajra Rui stick, Tsunade's impact still had some impact on him. All the internal organs were displaced. Hujing Sarutobi leaned on the Vajra Rui stick and stood up slowly. He stared at his surroundings with a vigilant look. But there was no movement. Then, Hujing Sarutobi slapped his hand on the ground. He took out a scroll and took out a bottle of blood from the scroll. Then he splashed it on the ground. At the same time, the faces of the members of the Sarutobi clan, the Fuma clan and the Shimura clan changed drastically. Because they could clearly feel that the chakra in their bodies was dissipating rapidly. The wounds that came from nowhere caused the blood in their bodies to decrease rapidly and flew towards the direction of the Hokage's office. Hujing Sarutobi's expression gradually became crazy. Looking at the blood and chakra flying around, he shouted wildly. Let you experience what the taste of blood is. This is the most delicious breath. After that, countless blood and chakra rushed into Hujing Sarutobi's body crazily. The Vajra Rui stick also became full of bloody patterns. Tsunade stared at the smoke in front of her seriously. Because the energy of blood and chakra was constantly entering. The next second, a monster that looked like a human but not a human, like a beast but not a beast, jumped out directly. His eyes were full of bloodthirstiness. He raised his arm and slammed it in Tsunade's direction. Tsunade's pupils tightened, raised her arms hastily and began to resist frantically. Ola ola ola. But the monster's attack did not stop at all, and it hit Tsunade's head frantically. Tsunade's body was constantly beaten back. Various bruises appeared on her body. There was also embarrassing blood at the corner of her mouth. Just heard a bang. Tsunade's body was directly knocked out. At the same time, the monster jumped high. The soles of his feet and palms fell freely towards Tsunade. Tsunade forced herself to cheer up. The diamond on her forehead began to spread continuously. Yin seal release. A huge amount of chakra instantly surged out of Tsunade's body. An air explosion was formed in the air. Tsunade clenched her teeth. Using the energy of the air explosion in the air, she punched the monster hard with both fists. A violent sound was formed in the air. The entire Hokage building was also overwhelmed. Finally, it collapsed with a rumble. With the Hokage building as the center, the dust instantly enveloped the entire Konoha village. Tsunade slowly stood up in the dust. Yin Fengyan began to heal her injuries. What kind of monster is this? But before Tsunade could finish, the monster's figure instantly emerged from the smoke with two fists and hit Tsunade fiercely. Tsunade did not block it at all. She was directly knocked away dozens of meters by the monster. Deep scratches were left on the ground. The monster began to laugh crazily, and the bloodthirsty color in his eyes became heavier again. Ha ha ha, let you, a woman, see what the power of God is. But he hadn't finished speaking. Countless blood poured into the monster's body again. It actually made the monster's body swell again. The eyes also turned blood red. At this time, the monster no longer had whites in his eyes. Finally, he jumped directly in the direction of Tsunade and raised his fists to attack again. This time Tsunade couldn't avoid it. The chakra all over his body began to surge wildly. Demonstrating strange power again, smashed towards the monster. The two fists collided violently in the air. Then the two of them were blown away. He spat out a mouthful of blood. A figure appeared in the sky instantly. Take Tsunade. That was none other than Orochimaru. How could this happen? What kind of monster is this? A serious look appeared on Orochimaru's handsome face. He had never seen Tsunade beaten so miserably. Tsunade spat out another mouthful of blood, and the color turned pale. I'm not sure, but it should be something caused by Sarutobi Hujing. This monster is extremely powerful, like a killing machine, and it keeps absorbing blood. The more he fights with me, the stronger he becomes, and the more fierce he becomes. Although my Yin Seal tries his best to block it, his power is self-evident and very strong. Orochimaru nodded his head. I discovered something when I came here. Countless ninjas turned into withered bones, and the blood and chakra on their bodies continued to dissipate, and was absorbed towards the Hokage building. I think his power should be the ninjas of these 3 clans. Under the treatment of Yin Seal, Tsunade's face quickly returned to rosy. He stood up straight and asked seriously. Dry bones. The opponents turned into withered bones one after another, the flesh and blood on their bodies began to dissipate on a large scale, and the chakra was also absorbed. It's miserable. At this time, Orochimaru also had speculations. It seems that this guy should be Sarutobi Hujing. He used an shady method to use the blood and chakra of the 3 clans to enhance himself, but at the same time his consciousness also became bloodthirsty. But before the 2 of them had finished their discussion, the monster body transformed by Sarutobi Hujing rushed forward again. Orochimaru's wrist quickly turned into countless snakes. Tsunade's body was thrown directly off the battlefield. The whole body turned into countless snakes. They were all entangled in the direction of Sarutobi Hujing. But it has no effect. The monster frantically tore the snake in half, but Orochimaru also took the opportunity to bite the monster on the shoulder. The toxin invaded his body instantly. The monster instantly let out a roar that reached the sky. Orochimaru flew away directly. Orochimaru retreated to Tsunade's side, and his pale face became even paler again. It is invincible. This monster's power is increasing every moment. The toxins I injected into his body have no effect at all. They are all immune. Then the monster's momentum surged again. A large-scale skeleton appeared on his body. Started roaring to the sky. Then the whole body slowly infiltrated with bloody energy. Then he suddenly jumped in the direction of Tsunade and Orochimaru. Orochimaru's pupils shrank, because he found that the monster's pattern was very similar to that of his 2 men. Kimamaro's skeleton, Jugo's natural form. So similar. But in just such a small amount of time to think, the monster has already rushed in front of him. Tsunade suddenly grabbed Orochimaru's arm and swung it behind him. I also used this momentum to rush out. Then the 2 stood in the big pit, kicking up dust that shot up into the sky. The dust hasn't even cleared yet. A bone knife quickly appeared in the monster's hand. He slashed hard in Tsunade's direction. Extremely sharp. Orochimaru formed a seal with his hands and slammed the ground. Spiritualism 10,000 snakes. A giant purple snake appeared on the battlefield instantly. Cold snake eyes looked at Orochimaru. Are you ready for the sacrifice? But Orochimaru didn't pay any attention to Banshee's nonsense. With Tsunade, he suddenly hid under Wan Shi. Then a huge shock wave directly enveloped Wan Shi. The severe pain made Wan Shi roar angrily. Orochimaru, you, how dare you hurt me? Then he opened his bloody mouth and bit directly at the monster. But there was even more excitement in the monster's eyes. Both hands violently supported Wan Shi's upper and lower jaws. He actually withstood it forcefully. Tsunade saw that the situation was not good. He formed a seal with his hands and slammed it on the ground. A huge slug appeared on the battlefield. Tsunade-sama, what's wrong? Tsunade pointed in the direction of the monster. Support Wan Shi and defeat him. Then the slug nodded its head, spit out countless amounts of acidic liquid from its mouth, and spewed it in the direction of the monster. The acidic liquid immediately enveloped the monster. White smoke erupted from the monster's body. But it doesn't work. On the contrary, it makes the monster even more excited. He jumped up high and pulled out the bones in his body. That bone is in the shape of a stick. He hit Wan Shi's head hard. All snakes were under this blow. It turned directly into white smoke and disappeared in place. The slug also quickly retreated. Master Gangsho, the strength on the other side is really too strong. That guy Wan Shi has been beaten back to Longdi Cave. What kind of guy is he? Tsunade looked at the scene in front of her and slowly shook her head. I'm not sure either. I don't know what method this guy used. He appeared out of thin air. He poses a very high threat to Konoha village. But the blood on the monster evaporated again. He directly picked up his stick and struck it hard in the direction of Orochimaru and Tsunade. Extremely fast. There was no time to react. Tsunade's pupils shrank. There's no way to escape. But right now, the monster's stick was only 1 centimeter away from Tsunade's head, stopping it in place. A feeling of surviving a disaster spread in Tsunade's heart. Then he stormed out, breathing heavily. Why is the speed getting so fast? Behind the monster was a middle-aged man with a pineapple head and scars on his face. Forming a seal in his hand, the shadow tightly bound the monster. He is the current leader of the Nara clan. Nara Shikaku. Nara Shikaku shouted loudly behind him. Ding Zuo, come on. Akamichi Choza, the leader of the Akamichi clan, heard Nara Shikaku's cry. Responded loudly. Nu. Then a butterfly wing appeared behind the whole person, and his figure began to shrink rapidly. Doubling technique. Butterfly bomb critical strike. All the chakra in Akamichi Choisaku's body gathered on his fist, and he hit the monster hard. A huge shock wave sounded directly on the monster's back. The monster was knocked away directly. Hufufu, this isn't too strong. Akamichi Tingzao gasped heavily, touched his head, and said naively. But Nara Shikaku's pupils shrank and he shouted loudly. Careful, I saw that the monster appeared directly behind Akamichi Tingzao. The stick in his hand hit him hard. The monster's stick was about to hit Akamichi Choza. Heart turn technique. Yamanaka Inoichi immediately formed a hand seal. But it was useless and could not stop the monster's attack at all. He shouted immediately. Keep going, he has no soul. I can't stop him. Super multiplication technique. Akamichi Choza's body suddenly expanded again. Like a small mountain, he immediately raised his hands and blocked the monster in front of him. Then Akamichi Choza's body began to slide backwards. At the moment of sliding, the figure of Hinata Hiyashi suddenly came to the middle of the battlefield. White eyes open. Soft fist technique 8 diagrams 64 palms. A shape of the 8 diagrams instantly appeared under Hinata Hiyashi's feet. Hinata Hiyashi's figure suddenly rushed to the side of the monster. His fingers tapped on various acupuncture points on him. Finally, he retreated violently. At the same time, a large amount of chakra began to flow out of the monster's acupuncture points, and there were signs of a hurricane. Retreat. Hinata Hiyashi shouted loudly to those around him. Then the 4 family heads quickly retreated. Tsunade looked at these heads and said, "This monster is something. Be careful." Nara Shikaku quickly walked to Tsunade's side. Asked, Tsunade-sama, what is the origin of this monster? And why did you summon all the heads of our families today? Tsunade summoned countless slugs to treat the surrounding Anbu. At the same time, she also answered Nara Shikaku's question. The Sarutobi clan and the Shimura clan rebelled, and they also joined forces with the Fuma clan to counterattack Konoha. This monster is one of their leaders. Sarutobi Hujing. Nara Shikaku nodded his head. I didn't expect that the 3rd generation would leave such a big problem. It's really tricky. This is Akamichi Choji who also came. It's really tricky. This guy is very powerful. Even I, who has the super multiplication technique, can hardly subdue him. Let's see what happens in a while. He was hit by my 8 trigrams 64 palms. Now the chakra around him is beginning to dissipate. I don't know how much it will dissipate. Hinata Hiyashi also came behind Tsunade. He looked at the monster with a heavy face. Then the clan leaders who did not show up also came behind Tsunade. It is obvious that the threat of this monster is too great. Tsunade waved her hand behind her. The 4 Anbu rushed up directly. Formed a small 4 red yang formation. Imprisoned the monster. This monster is from the Sarutobi clan, transformed by Sarutobi Hujing. Today is also the day when their clan launched a coup, but I don't know where Sarutobi Asuma went, but this incident is the worst influence for Konoha. The Sarutobi clan must be eradicated. Until no one dares to follow in their footsteps. Tsunade said seriously to the clan leaders of the Konoha clan. The Sarutobi clan cannot do this, nor can any other clan. A serious aura instantly spread. It filled everyone's heart. Because this was Tsunade beating them. Those who betray Konoha will die. But at this moment, the monster roared to the sky again, and the bone spurs on its body spread further. Cracks appeared on the surface of the small four red yang formation. The four Anbu gritted their teeth, their foreheads full of sweat, and they stood up hard. Tsunade shouted loudly, "Retreat!" Then the four red yang formation was directly shattered and flew out. The monster's momentum rose again. But this time it was not as crazy as before. The monster's eyes were full of panic. At the same time, two giants descended from the sky. That was the Susanoo of the Uchiha clan. Not too late. It seems that we came just in time. Uchiha Fugaku stretched out his hand. A huge skeleton instantly pinched the monster up. The monster began to roar to the sky. But he couldn't break free from Susanoo's confinement. Fortunately, we are not too late. You came at the right time. Tsunade stepped forward immediately. Orochimaru behind him followed closely. Patriarch Fugaku, now let your guard team thoroughly detain these three tribes, and there must be no mistakes. Women and children. Tsunade's breath stagnated, and finally nodded slowly. Catch, all of them will be detained, waiting for the senior to come back to examine them. Yes. Then Shisui, who was behind Fugaku, ran quickly to the distance, leading a large group of people and horses, and walked towards the direction of the three tribes. It will take some hard work for the time being. Patriarch Fugaku, help me take care of this monster. It's okay. Tsunade turned around and said to these tribe leaders. Thank you all for your hard work today. You have seen the fate of the Sarutobi clan. There is no need to hide this matter. I will announce it to the whole village in a few days, so you clan leaders should know what to do. I know. Okay, then let's disperse today. The Nara clan, the Akamichi clan, the Yamanaka clan, and the Hyuga clan stay. Then countless clan leaders walked towards their homes. Nara Shikaku walked to Tsunade's side. Hokage-sama, what do you want to talk to us about? I wonder if we can do anything for you. Don't worry, I'll deal with the monster first. Tsunade stretched out her hand to interrupt Nara Shikaku's words, and slowly walked towards the monster that Sarutobi Hujing had turned into. She stretched out her hand, and the chakra continued to invade and check his body. What a strange feeling, Tsunade said puzzledly. Orochimaru beside her also took a step forward. His wrist directly turned into countless snakes, wrapping around the monster's body. The fangs bit into the monster's body fiercely. Along with Orochimaru's chakra, it continued to flow in the monster's body. The color of the monster's body also began to change constantly. Then he collapsed directly to the ground. The blood also continued to spread, slowly flowing to the ground. But the strange thing is, when the blood flowed on the ground, there was a sizzling sound. Then the monster's pupils actually burst into an unprecedented blood-red light. He pounced directly on Orochimaru. The big mouth was about to bite. No one reacted at this moment. Orochimaru's body quickly turned into a snake and slid out of his body. The clothes were left directly under the monster. There was only a click. The mask in Orochimaru's clothes shattered. Countless white smoke rose instantly. Everyone's face changed drastically. After all, the senior was disturbed. But the monster transformed by Sarutobi Hujing was not worried at all, and still stepped on the fragments of the mask and began to roar loudly. Uchiha Itachi's expression became very angry. Because he felt how useless he was, he couldn't help the senior, and he had to let the senior do it himself. Then Amaterasu burned towards the monster fiercely. Black flames directly enveloped the monster's body. But the monster managed to escape from Amaterasu with the help of countless blood. He suddenly jumped in the direction of Uchiha Itachi. Extremely fast, the fist hit Uchiha Itachi's frame directly and hard. Directly beat Uchiha Itachi away. Seeing that the attack was successful, the monster wanted to jump forward. But there was a joking laughter from the sky. I remember I haven't been away for long. Has such a big thing happened in Konoha? You guys are really causing trouble for me. Everyone who heard this, kneel down directly to the ground. Uchiha Itachi doesn't care about monster attacks. Just kneel on the ground and apologize. We have failed our seniors, and we are sorry for our seniors. Bailey's figure instantly arrived in front of the monster. A hard slap with the palm of my hand. The monster was directly knocked away. There is no time to apologize, and you shouldn't apologize now. Do you really want to die to apologize? I still can't let you go. You are all the mainstay of Konoha. Bailey's hand slightly lifted up everyone's bodies. Finally walked out slowly, looking at the bloodthirsty monster in front of him. He is really a troublesome guy. I wonder where this energy comes from. Then the whole figure disappeared directly. Appeared above the monster. The kick fell hard. He forcefully smashed the monster into the pit. Everyone directly heard a banging sound. That was the sound of the monster's lumbar spine breaking. But the monster is still roaring in the sky. Bailey knelt down gently and patted the monster's cheek. Stop arguing. If you argue again, it will still be the same. Call me Dur. Then Bailey's hand instantly transformed into the appearance of 9 tails. He slammed it down hard on the monster's head. Just hear the monster whimper. Silent, but not dead yet. I have to say that the vitality of this thing is really tenacious. It goes beyond the scope of the Naruto world. Bailey sighed in the first half of the sentence and muttered in the second half. Then the chakra all over his body directly covered the surface of the monster. His ears moved slightly, and then his eyebrows furrowed tightly. What is this? A combination of man and psychic beast, ape demon. It turns into a supernatural power. This power can be comparable to magic. But he's so bloodthirsty. Bailey found a scroll from nowhere. He kept digging through the scrolls. Finally, I took out a large chainsaw. Tsunade and others. Sarutobi Hokage, D. Then seal in place. A closed cabin appeared directly. Bailey forcefully dragged the monster into the cabin. He said to the people outside the door. Warm reminder, cover your ears, especially Itachi boy, don't bring harm to your weak hearts. I don't want to be a villain in Konoha. Then the door was slammed shut. Uchiha Itachi and others looked at each other. His eyes were full of helplessness. Then Bailey's crazy shouts and the sound of the chainsaw turning wildly came from the wooden house. Let me see what you are all about. Buzz buzz. Then the monster's crazy shouts came from the wooden house. With the piercing sound of the chainsaw, the monster finally rested. Tsunade and Orochimaru looked at each other outside the door. He said with a wry smile. Senior, you are much crazier than you were before. Then my experiments like this must be regarded as little witches in front of seniors. The words just fell. Bailey walked directly out of the wooden house with a portable chainsaw. The chainsaw was filled with blood, and Bailey's handsome face was also stained with a drop of blood. Seems even more crazy. Okay, I understand what's going on. I've already finished dealing with that monster. You can just go in and kill it as you please, but remember that after death, you must use fire escape to deal with it and burn everything. Yes, thank you senior. Bailey waved his hand impatiently. Okay, remember, just take care of Konoha village. Having said that, Bailey will leave here. Tsunade stepped forward quickly. He arched his hand and said, Senior, how will we deal with this rebellion between the Sarutobi clan and the other 2 clans? Bailey pinched his eyebrows and looked at Tsunade. You, Hokage, are you asking me what to do? How did you become Hokage? Tsunade's knowledge is still rudimentary and she doesn't quite understand. Tsunade smiled bitterly and bent her waist, waving her hand in the direction of Bai Tan. You still have to ask me about eradicating the weeds. If you don't want to eradicate the weeds, just learn the methods of the previous 3 generations and firmly control their thoughts in your own hands. You can also avoid growing brains and roots. But yours are the means sufficient. Gudong. Everyone present heard what Bailey said. They all swallowed their saliva. This method is more fierce than the 3rd generation. And it is more thorough. I understand. But suddenly Bailey seemed to think of the little fool of Sarutobi's family. That is Boruto's teacher, Sarutobi Konohamaru. Go to hell, I don't care about this matter. Anyway, the Naruto world is in chaos now, so do whatever you want. Then Bailey's figure disappeared directly. Everyone present slowly breathed a sigh of relief. Because the momentum of Bailey was too oppressive. Tsunade looked at the head of the big clan. You should understand now, right? It's not that I'm oppressing you, but that the seniors don't allow any extra situations to happen in Konoha village. Even I can't protect you under such circumstances, so you should also reflect on yourself. If there are any special situations, eliminate them as soon as possible. Yes, we understand. Okay, let Uchiha Itachi deal with this body. Remember to deal with it cleanly without leaving any loopholes. Yes, Uchiha Itachi quickly stepped forward and came directly to the body. The eternal Mangekyo Sharingan in his eyes began to spin wildly. Amaterasu began to cover the body frantically. Burn non-stop, burn non-stop. Finally, Tsunade winked at Orochimaru and Fugaku behind her. Then she walked towards the Hokage's office. Bai Li's side, holding a tube of blood in his hand, muttered, "It's really a power that doesn't belong to the Naruto world. This kind of evil technique is even more evil than the power of the evil god. Absorbing all blood resources and improving oneself with evil means is really something that people yearn for." Finally, Bai Li formed a seal with both hands. The blood moved without wind. It directly drew a strange shape in the air. A black ghost head instantly appeared in it. "You're the one who ruined my plan." Gito started roaring crazily. "But it has no effect at all." Bai Li took out a handkerchief from his body and wiped his hands. Said impatiently, "From now on, you will answer whatever I ask you. If I don't ask you any questions, you don't need to answer. If you disobey the order, you will be killed." Suddenly, Gatu's mouth was filled with countless ghostly auras. Shouted loudly, "Who do you think you are? If you come and order me, I will swallow you up in the next second." Finally, the ghostly energy in the sky whizzed away directly in the direction of Bai Li. Bai Li's eyes narrowed. A long sword instantly appeared in his hand. Slammed towards the ground. A void barrier appeared here instantly, forcibly resisting countless ghosts. Then countless sword energy shot directly towards the ghost energy out of thin air. The huge ghost energy directly dug many holes. Then there was a loud noise. Bai Li stretched out his hand and grabbed the ghost energy directly in his hand. "Now you answer whatever I say. How did you come into this world?" Wei Qi glanced at Bai Li. A strange light appeared in Bai Li's pupils, and the whole Qi trembled violently. "Say it quickly." "I don't know how I got here. I'm a bunch of ghost energy from the Yan Kingdom, but I really don't know how I got here. Please let me go, brother." Speaking of how fast it was then, Wei Qi's mouth was speaking as fast as a machine gun. It was as if a lion was biting behind his butt. Bai Li nodded his head. "What's your role?" "I am an evil ghost with a century-old grievance. As long as someone sacrifices to me, I will give him some power in return. However, due to the influence of ghost energy, the power will be tyrannical." Bai Li nodded his head calmly. Then he turned his gaze to the direction of Yan Kingdom in the distance. Murmured, "It seems that I need to go back. There is also the Flame Kingdom in the world of Naruto." Then Bai Li's palm slammed down. The ghostly aura that filled the sky disappeared. "There is no use value anymore. What are you left to do?" Bai Li stood up slowly and walked towards the distance. Outside Union Village, Deidara and Sanwei sat on a branch of a tree waiting for White Fox. Deidara held a piece of grass in his mouth and flicked it back and forth on the tree. "When will Senior come back? I'm still waiting to realize my art. Life without Senior is really meaningless. Why are you in a hurry? You can push the boss's time. All we have to do is wait and wait patiently until the boss comes back." Three Tails glanced at Deidara. Then he lay lazily in the bird's nest on the branch of the tree. A swish sound. Bai Li squatted on the branch above them and looked at Sanwei. His fingers gently touched Sanwei's turtle shell. Sanwei turned his body. "Ignore it." A black line was left on Bai Li's forehead, and it was scratched on his turtle shell. Sanwei turned his head sharply. At the same time, he opened his mouth wide and bit back. "Deidara, are you tired of living? Watch me bite you to death." Then he bit Bai Li's finger directly. He kept chewing with his eyes closed. Why does it feel wrong today?" Sanwei opened his eyes suddenly. He looked at Bai Li staring at him with anger on his face. Then he quickly opened his mouth, climbing towards Deidara's hair. Bai Li directly stretched out his hand and trapped the three tails in his palm. "I see you've been floating around a lot these days when I'm not around." "Boss, I don't have that." But Bai Li didn't listen to Sanwei's sophistry. Pinched directly on his turtle shell. It was thrown to Deidara aside. "Keep an eye on him. This kid has been drifting a lot lately. Don't worry about him." "Yes, Senior. Come into the village with me." Bai Li walked slowly towards the entrance of Union Village. But as soon as he arrived at the village gate, he was stopped by the guard. "I wonder where you guys are from. I didn't see any of you wearing forehead protectors." Deidara stood up holding the three tails. We are just traveling through Union Village and want to rest for a night. The guard nodded. Well, come here and register with me first. Deidara turned his head and glanced at Bailey. Bailey slowly nodded his head. It's better to be unobtrusive. After registering, one person and two-tailed beasts walked to the streets of Union Village. Looking at the customs of Union Village, Bailey couldn't help but sigh. The customs here are really different from those in Konoha. Is this the lifestyle of a reckless man? He is really tough. People coming and going on the street. Most of them have darker skin color and appear stronger. There are also many ninjas. Deidara walked to Bailey's side. Well, after all, it is a ninja village famous for its taijutsu. It is one of the 5 major ninja villages and has a strong foundation. The third Hokage back then frightened the entire ninja world. He fought an army of 30,000 people alone and died of exhaustion. Quote, it is indeed ferocious, but in my opinion, he is just a reckless man. Alas, his fighting ability is pitiful. Bailey looked at Deidara and said slowly. But they didn't pay attention at all. People around them looked at them strangely. There was a trace of anger in everyone's eyes. Finally one ninja couldn't stand it anymore. Walked up to Bailey. It seems you are from another village. Deidara said secretly. Not good. Then he quickly walked up to the ninja. We are here for tourism. We passed by Union Village and came to stay for one night. Suddenly the ninja's face showed understanding. I understand. Why do you not understand the third generation so well? Sandaime-sama is a ninja who can monopolize the 8 tails. When he fought against an army of 30,000 people, he was thinking about the future of our entire Kumogakure village. He was truly a hero. Sandaime-sama is a hero in our hearts. All Deidara could think about was staying out of trouble. He could only laugh from the sidelines. Yes, yes, yes. But Bailey's face showed disdain. A reckless man is just a reckless man. He monopolizes an army of 30,000 people and cannot defeat them. Isn't that what a reckless man does? Is there any explanation for this? Deidara watched Bailey speak. No more laughter. Slowly walked behind Bailey. You outsider dares to talk about the third generation out of thin air. You are really impatient. With that said, the Kumogakure ninja drew his sword. He pointed the tip of his knife at Bailey and the other two. His face was serious. Then other people in the village slowly gathered around. Surround Bailey in the middle. If you don't apologize to the third generation today, you will never leave the village. I will make you understand what Union Village is. Then countless ninjas rushed up instantly. Holding sharp knives, Bailey was surrounded tightly. But just when it comes to taking action, a dark-skinned woman walked from a distance. What are you doing? After hearing this, the Kumogakure ninjas all moved out of the way. He lowered his head. Mabuyi-sama. But this guy insulted the reputation of our Cloud Ninja Village and insulted the third Hokage-sama. He deserves death. A Kumogakure ninja ran to Mabuyi's side and complained. Then this is how we in Union Village treat people with courtesy. Grown-ups. Mabuyi stretched out her hand to interrupt him. Okay, you don't need to say anything, just leave it to me to solve it. Then he slowly walked up to Bailey. Your Excellency, please speak further. Okay. A smile appeared on Bailey's face, and he followed Mabuyi's footsteps and walked forward. But because Bailey's appearance is not above the aesthetics of Union Village. So basically no one praised his face. Bailey. He smiled in vain. Outside the Hokage's office, Mabuyi smiled slowly at Bailey. Please wait here for a moment. I'll go ask the Hokage-sama for instructions. Please be patient and come out soon. Bailey nodded his head. Mabuyi quickly entered the Hokage's office. Sanwei lay directly on Bailey's shoulders. Boss, this Union Village has been treated so badly by us, what are we still doing here? We can just destroy this village and it's over. Bailey directly knocked his hand on the 3-tailed turtle shell. Do you really think that Union Village is as easy to bully as Sand Hidden Village? Union Village's strength should not be underestimated. But after hearing this, Sanwei put his hands on his waist, raised his head again and said. What are you afraid of? Boss, you are here, why should we be afraid? Just in time to rescue Shower and Shalba. If I were alone, I could defeat him first, but with the current Hokage's strength being able to seal Hachi, wouldn't he just hit you one at a time? The main reason is that he is afraid that you will hold me back. Sanway. Hold you back. Three Tails Didera. I have never been so speechless in my life. Bailey touched Sanway's head and said, okay, third, this is my village after all. Let's wait for a while. It won't be a problem. Since that's what you said, boss, then fine, I won't let them offend with my bad temper. Sanway watched Bailey give him the steps and hurriedly rolled down. In the Raikage's office, Mabuyi looked at the fourth Raikage and said, Sir Raikage, there is a strange person outside. He came to our cloud-hidden village, but as soon as he entered the village, he caused a very bad influence. He insulted the third-generation Raikage, but he is definitely not an ordinary person. He was taken outside your office, how should you handle it? I raised his head. He asked with a confused look on his face. Insulting my father in Union Village. Mabuyi lowered her body even lower and said respectfully. Although you may not believe it, the truth is this. If I hadn't happened to be around, I might have had a conflict with the villagers on the spot. I rubbed his brows and slowly stood up. Is this man a reckless man? He can do such brave things. Okay, then just stay and let me take a look. Let them wait outside the door first. Just say that I am still handling official business, kill their spirit first. But Mabuyi frowned when she heard Ai's words. Lord Raikage and the others are from other villages after all. Aren't you afraid that they will leave our Union Village and gossip about our Union Village in front of other villages? This will have a very negative impact on our Union Village. I waved his hand indifferently. It's nothing, don't worry. What can other villages say in the face of powerful force? It's just to make the image of our warriors more profound in front of other ninja villages, that's all. After hearing Ai's speech, Mabuyi nodded helplessly. He walked out slowly holding his folder. After Bailey saw Mabuyi come out, he looked at Mabuyi calmly and spoke directly. If my guess is correct, Lord Raikage should be dealing with official business, right? Mabuyi. Degree delta degree backquote, how do you know? But after working as a secretary for many years, Mabuyi's mood instantly changed. He smiled slightly in Bailey's direction. You guessed it right. Lord Raikage is indeed dealing with official business. We don't have much time at the moment. Please wait a moment. Lord Raikage will finish handling official business soon. Please be patient and wait a moment. When Sanway heard this, his three tails immediately stood up. Standing on Didara's head, he shouted loudly. What's your attitude? My boss is here, and you don't dare to give me face. You really don't want this ninja village anymore, right? You have to fight each other, okay. We are here to give you don't have anything to say if you don't come here. Do you know? This is the momentum belonging to the three tails, which explodes directly and vigorously. Mabuyi looked at the three tails of the three tails and backed away quickly. Three tails. He's about to fall to the ground. A muscular figure jumped out of the Raikage's office. I directly caught Mabuyi. He backed away violently, staring seriously in the direction of Sanway. Then he looked at Bailey again. His eyes were full of alertness. I wonder why you brought Sanway to our Union Village. If you have something to say, there is no need to release such a strong momentum. The buildings in our Union Village can still withstand it. Bailey spread his hands and said helplessly. I said I was just here for a trip, do you believe me? Then Raikage's eyes narrowed. He whispered to the guards behind him. Go and hide the two-tailed Jinchuriki and the eight-tailed Jinchuriki from me, and don't let them come out. Yes. The figure of the personal guard quickly turned into a bolt of lightning and fled into the distance. Bailey curled the corners of his mouth. Actually, Raikage-sama doesn't have to be like this. I heard everything you said clearly. What's the point of speaking quietly? Instead of speaking in a low voice, it's better to speak openly. My face will never change at all because of your words. I looked at Bailey's expression of wanting to be beaten. The veins on his forehead suddenly popped out. His fists were also clenched fiercely. The expression on his face became very serious. Why don't you tell us what you really think about what you want to do with our two-tailed Jinchuriki and eight-tailed Jinchuriki? Seeing the three-tailed one on your shoulders, we don't think you can travel as easily as that. If you insist that you are here for tourism, don't blame us at Union Village for being rude. Finally, countless bolts of lightning erupted from Ai's body. A dazzling light shines directly outside the Raikage's office. Bailey stretched out his hand, pointing to the Raikage's office inside. Is this how the Hidden Cloud Village treats guests? Is this how the Hidden Cloud Village treats guests? Then I might as well go to Konoha. Although Konoha has experienced a catastrophe, its hospitality is better than yours. Union Village is so good. Ai's face turned dark when he heard this. What he always hated was comparing his village to Konoha. After all, what's the comparison? It's not just who has the strongest force, who has the final say. But at this time, he also knew that he was in the wrong. He put away all his momentum and stretched out his hand towards the inside. He smiled at Bailey. Your Excellency, please. Although it was a word of invitation, I said it very forcefully, as if Bailey's refusal to come in was like not giving him face. There was a slight smile on Bailey's lips. He slowly approached with Deidara and Three Tails. When passing by Ai, the Nine Tails chakra all over his body exploded violently. He directly pushed Ai into a somersault, and Ai's face suddenly turned red. When had he ever suffered such a loss at the hands of others? However, at this time, he also understood how strong the young man in front of him was. He twitched the corners of his lips and followed the three of them into the Raikage's office. But before entering, he said to Mabuyi behind him, "You don't need to come in. You can go home and recuperate." But that's what it is said. The mouth shape still has two extra mouth shapes. Turtle Island. Mabuyi instantly understood what the Raikage meant. He nodded his head hastily. I know, I will go back to my home to adjust. Yes, okay, you can go down first. My intimate team will handle the internal affairs during this period. Then Mabuyi hurriedly ran outside the Raikage building without even saying hello. The Raikage turned his head. He looked at Bai Li's face and smiled softly in front of him. He trembled violently all over. But the momentum is still strong. Ha ha ha, it's nothing. The secretary's condition is really not good recently. I asked her to go home and recuperate. Everyone, sit down and let's have a good talk. The Raikage sat in his office chair. I don't know where I elegantly took out a tea set. He poured a pot of tea steadily for Bai Li. Bai Li looked at Lei Ying, who looked like Zhongfei was threading a needle. He finally couldn't help his emotions and burst into laughter. I looked at Bai Li suspiciously. Carefully place the teacup in your hand on the table. Asked hurriedly, what's wrong? It's okay, it's just that my wife is going to give birth. Raikage also nodded his head symbolically. That's quite happy. Really? Then the Raikage picked up the delicious teapot again. Deidara couldn't help but laugh this time. The Raikage was once again attracted by his laughter. What happened this time? Deidara hurriedly covered his mouth, his pupils darting around. Bai Li explained for him. It's nothing, except that his wife is also going to give birth. The Raikage's eyes widened. Both of your wives are about to give birth. Yes, that's quite a coincidence. Ha ha ha. Suddenly everyone present laughed instantly, whether it was the Three Tails or the Raikage. They all started laughing loudly. But the laughter stopped abruptly the next second. Raikage looked at everyone seriously. He slowly pushed his teacup out. The force is neither too strong nor too weak, just enough for Bai Li to catch it easily. Why don't you tell the truth? Why did you come to my Union Village? If you tell the truth, I can still be lenient and send you back to your own village, otherwise you will only face death. In the end, Raikage's momentum instantly exploded throughout the office. Layers of cracks began to appear on the windows. Bai Li looked at the teacup in his hand. Touching the teacup that was shattered by Raikage's aura, he frowned slightly. It's not good for you to have such a bad temper. Then his hand pressed down fiercely. Raikage's momentum disappeared instantly. The whole person was like a squib, his face turned red. But he couldn't make any resistance. Bai Li gently put down the teacup in his hand. In the end, the body of the teacup was instantly covered with countless broken marks. Finally, it turns into fine powder and piles up on the table. Bai Li stood up slowly and stared at Ai seriously. Since your excellency insists on letting me take something from your hidden cloud village, it would be disrespectful of me to be so eager to deliver the second tail to my hands. I really want to thank you. Quote. You. When I heard this, he stood up suddenly. However, under the suppression of several tails of chakra, Ai's body only rose half a foot, and was finally pressed hard on the chair. The entire chair was also overwhelmed and began to creak. It was then filled with countless tiny scratches. Finally it shattered, and Ai's body suddenly fell to the ground. Ai felt this huge pressure on himself. Start laughing. So what if you are very powerful? Do you really think that your skills can penetrate the entire ninja world? Let me tell you the truth, the 2 tails and the 8 tails have been hidden by me. You can't find them at all. You are just wishful thinking. Bailey slowly walked up to the wreckage. Slowly squat down. He patted his cheeks left and right with his palms. Isn't it, Turtle Island? Why are you keeping it so mysterious? Is this still a secret? Hearing Bailey's words, eyes widened instantly. How could you know? This is the secret of our Union Village. No, you are trying to trick me. Haha, then you really are overthinking it. The secret you are thinking about is not a secret to me at all. I know all your secrets very well, but I just don't want to tell them. Then countless 9-tailed chakra instantly rose from the ground. It turned into countless golden ropes. He tied the Raikage's body to the Raikage's office. White Raccoon Dog, Deidara and the 3-tailed figure walked to the door of Raikage's office. He held out one of his hands and said, "Let's go to Turtle Island first and see when you can catch us." Then the figure disappeared directly into the Raikage's office. Eyes roaring at the top of his lungs came from the Raikage's office. It resounded directly throughout the entire Union Village. A hidden island. It's called Turtle Island. This is where Kurabi gets his training. Kurabi came to Turtle Island panting with the 2 women behind him. Finally stopped. By the way, why did you suddenly bring us to Turtle Island in such a hurry? Yoshi. Kurabi was still talking about his rap. Mabuyi said out of breath. Cloud Hidden Village has now undergone a great test. A very powerful enemy has come to Cloud Hidden Village. They want to take you 2 away. Lord Raikage is doing his best to delay. They entrusted me to take you to Turtle Island. Come. Brother. Kurabi listened as I was in danger. His expression also tightened suddenly. Then we will leave from Turtle Island. But Mabuyi hurriedly hugged his arm. Sir Kurabi, you can't go out. If you go out, all of Raikage-sama's plans will be ruined. The 2 Yumu people also stepped forward and hugged Kurabi's other arm. Said loudly, "Listen to Mabuyi-sama. This is a trap set by Raikage-sama. We can't go out. If we go out, the entire Kumogakure village will lose." The 8 tails in Kurabi's body also reminded. "Little Kurabi, there is no need to go out. I feel a familiar chakra approaching quickly. Your big brother has failed." How is that possible? The 2 tails in the bodies of the 2 Yumu people also reminded. There is a familiar chakra approaching quickly, be careful. The expressions of the 2 people suddenly became clear. Finally, the body became tense quickly. Chakra flows involuntarily. But no enemy came yet. Kurabi and the 2 Yumu people looked at each other. Could it be that the 2 of us really felt wrong? But right now, a thin voice came from above his head. I didn't expect you, an octopus and a kitten, to have such strong senses. Kurabi and the 2 Yumu people quickly looked above their heads. There was a handsome young man sitting on the branch of the tree. In terms of appearance, no one in the entire ninja world is more handsome than him. But the tailed beasts inside the 2 of them kept reminding them. The chakra in the body of the person in front of you cannot be underestimated. It is extremely dangerous. Kurabi took out the knife in his hand. Staring at Bailey seriously, the black sunglasses had a hint of reflective color. There was a slight smile on Bailey's lips. It looks like you are going to fight me. Huh. As soon as these words came out, countless pressures roared away in the direction of Kurabi. Press Kurabi's body firmly into the ground. The expressions of the 2 Yumu people instantly became nervous, and their claws were unconsciously exposed. In the end, the whole person jumped up high. He came directly behind Bailey. The claws swung out fiercely. Bailey immediately turned around and lightly hit her wrist with his fingers. Afterwards, the bodies of the 2 wooden figures flew out directly. He was thrown hard into the pit. Then countless blue chakras rose up in the pit. The 2 Yukitos instantly entered perfect Jinchuriki mode. He rushed towards Bailey's direction. But behind Bailey, an animal instantly flew out from Deidara's shoulder. He hit the 2 Yuki people hard on the face. Directly beat the 2 Yumu people away. Sanwei put his hands on his waist and said proudly. You stupid cat, it seems you have lived with ninjas for a long time, and you don't even recognize your elder brother, right? Now you dare to take action against your elder brother, do you really want us tailed beasts to clean up the traitors? The 2 Yumu people drew a long trace on the ground. Finally, He looked at Sanwei blankly. The voice in his mouth also changed. Isofu, why are you fool here? When Sanwei heard this, his tail immediately stood up. The whole body flew out directly. The turtle shell hit the 2 Yuki people hard on the face. Directly smashed the 2 Yumu people into the pit again. Why are you talking to your 3-tailed boss? It would be weird if you don't get beaten for your attitude. I think you have really forgotten your mission. Then he will use his own tortoise punch. But Bai Li's body floated directly down from the tree. He pinched the back of Sanwei's neck. Don't be naughty. Since Shower and Xiaoba don't know us, let's let them make a deeper impression on us. This method is tried and tested. Bai Li pinched his knuckles. Then he walked towards the 2 Yumu and Kurabi with a ferocious smile on his face. Sanwei also followed behind him and pinched his fingers. Mabuyi quickly stepped forward and stretched out her hand to stop them. Your Excellency, we don't need to be so awesome. These 2 are also the Jinchuriki of our village after all. It's not a good thing to try too hard with our Kumogakure village. Please show your kindness, so let's forget it this time. Quote, Mabuyi is worthy of being a secretary with many years of experience. The midfielder made it clear. Suddenly, Bai Li was pushed to the same moral high ground as Union Village. But Bai Li smiled softly. He said slowly to Mabuyi. Sorry, I have no morals. Then he bypassed Mabuyi and walked slowly towards Killer Bee. Mabuyi became anxious when he heard this. Aren't you afraid of making enemies with my Cloud Village? Our Cloud Village is one of the best villages in the ninja world. Don't you care about anything? Sorry, I really don't. Mabu Nong wanted to say something, but Didera behind her stepped forward and covered her mouth. He made a shushing gesture to her. Finally, he took her behind him. Don't interfere with what the senior does, otherwise you will become fertilizer for this land. If you don't want to become fertilizer, watch carefully. This side. Bai Li and Sanwei walked in front of Killer Bee. Yahweh also said this through Killer Bee's mouth. Sanwei, why did you come to the Cloud Village? Are you really not afraid of a war between the 2 villages? Sanwei shook his head. The boss is here, why are you pointing at me? I'm not the leader. Then he went directly in front of the 2 Yumu people. Killer Bee looked at Bai Li seriously. Who are you? At that moment, Bai Li looked at Killer Bee as if he was looking at a mentally retarded person. He gently patted his face with his palm. Finally, he said contemptuously. Since you can't remember, I'll let you feel what strength is. I'm not anyone, I'm just passing by. The last fist hit Killer Bee's head hard. But in an instant, countless 8-tailed chakras surged out of Killer Bee's body. It actually formed a tailed beast coat out of thin air. I hope everyone will support it and subscribe more.